Saturday mornings, the Armchair Quarterbacks, a Southern tradition like no other. We dive into the Southeastern Conference and the Southern teams in the National Football League. We talk to betting lines, fantasy football. So join us Saturday mornings and get your football weekend started right with the Armchair Quarterbacks, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, right here on Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
G'day.
Hi, it's Dean, calling from Cyprus.
Buongiorno, Dino.
My mate wants me to rub sun cream on his back.
Holy dooly.
A delicate matter, but a burnt wingman is useless.
So there are rules.
Okay.
Only put cream where he can't reach.
Between his shoulder blades.
The safe zone.
Anything else?
Whack it on thick, mate. Last thing you want to do is a second coach.
And remember, Dino, the following things are not permitted.
Eye contact.
Scented candles.
Power balance.
And do not apply if he's wearing budgie smugglers.
Are we all clear?
Crystal. Cheers, fellas.
No dramas.
Armchair.
Hey, Braves fans, the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel are bringing you Braves baseball all season long. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and I'll be bringing you Braves baseball play-by-play for the Braves fans out there, for all of Braves country. So pull up an armchair and join us for Braves Country Baseball, first pitch to last pitch, Tuesday and Friday nights, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel.
What happens when 5 eligible bachelors welcome a little girl into their lives?
Hey, it's my turn in the bathroom.
Stop hilarity. My 5 uncles.
Hey, Gina, welcome to your new home. You sleep in there, and we all sleep in here.
The show that shows family values exist even in unconventional families.
Oh, what are you guys doing in there?
Taking hilarious comedy in a whole new funny direction.
I don't get it. Why don't any of you guys have a steady girlfriend? I'm an emotionally abused orphan. Can I get in on any of these group hugs?
My 5 uncles, Thursday nights on LSBC.
Join the Armchair Quarterback Show for its 9th season. And this year, we're doing it all in one show. Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, we'll be talking college football, the SEC, the Big Ten, other big games of the day. We'll be diving into the National Football League, focusing on the Southern football teams and all the big matchups throughout the land, and doing it while covering the point spreads, the over-unders, the prop bets, fantasy football. We'll tell you who to start and who to sit, and everybody's favorite, the stupid underdog picks. We'll cover Major League Baseball all the way through October and beyond. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings on Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback Show. Please like and subscribe today, youtube.com, Armchair Quarterbacks 1, home of Braves Country Baseball, Tuesday and Friday nights, along with pop-up shows, and the Armchair Quarterbacks Show, which airs live Saturday mornings, youtube.com, Armchair Quarterbacks 1. Hey, football fans, the Armchair Quarterback Show is back Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. A 3-hour wake-up show that'll cover it all. College football, the NFL, fantasy football, and Major League Baseball. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
It's important to remember the value of taking time for ourselves to do the things that help us grow and explore, like learning something new. And now with the Great Courses Plus, it's never been easier to experience the joys of learning. The Great Courses Plus offers thousands of streaming videos that cover hundreds of fascinating topics, from World War II to choosing the perfect wine. You can even take a course on the U.S. government or dealing with stress and anxiety. And because the Great Courses Plus partners with world-class professors and experts, you're always receiving thoroughly vetted, high-quality content from every lecture. Plus, you can watch or listen anytime, anywhere with the Great Courses Plus app. So take a little time for you. Sign up for the Great Courses Plus today for a free month of unlimited access. Visit thegreatcoursesplus.com/radio to get started. That's thegreatcoursesplus.com/radio.
I think my jersey was one of the top selling jerseys around the world. It was like Kobe, LeBron, and then I was right behind them, and I didn't make a dollar from it, but nor did I want to, because I knew going into college what it was all about. I knew going to my dream school, where I wanted to go, the passion for it. And if I could support my team, support my college, support my university, that's what it's all about. But now we're changing it from us, from we, from my university, from being an alumni where I care, which makes college football and college sports special, to then, okay, it's not about us, it's not about we, it's just about me. And yes, I know we live in a selfish culture where it's all about us, but we're just adding and piling it onto that, where it changes what's special about college football. We turn it into the NFL, where who has the most money, that's where you go. That's why people are more passionate about college sports than they are about NFL. That's why the stadiums are bigger in college than they are in the NFL, because it's about your team, it's about your university, it's about where my family wanted to go. And you're taking that away so that young kids can earn $1. And that's just not where I feel like college football needs to go.
Armchair.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
I'm Amy Lawrence, and I'm up late, always, after hours, hanging out with you on CBS Sports Radio. Check it out, 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific.
Join the Armchair Quarterback Show for its 9th season. And this year, we're doing it all in one show. Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, we'll be talking college football, the SEC, the Big Ten, other big games of the day. We'll be diving into the National Football League, focusing on the Southern football teams and all the big matchups throughout the land, and doing it while covering the point spreads, the over-unders, the prop bets, fantasy football. We'll tell you who to start and who to sit, and everybody's favorite, the stupid underdog picks. We'll cover Major League Baseball all the way through October and beyond. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings on Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
Lager, the beer that brought the forest down.
I drive an exotic imported sports car. I eat exotic foreign food like frankfurters and pizza. But when it comes to numbing my mind, I'm a patriot. I drink the beer that brought the forest down. I'm a lager man. And with the new 80-bottle trunk pack, you've got enough for the evening. Hey, it's happy hour somewhere.
Lager brings out the patriot in you.
Hey, Braves fans, the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel are bringing you Braves baseball all season long. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and I'll be bringing you Braves baseball play-by-play for the Braves fans out there, for all of Braves country. So pull up an armchair and join us for Braves country baseball, first pitch to last pitch, Tuesday and Friday nights, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel. You're listening to Braves Country Baseball. Please like and subscribe today. YouTube.com, Armchair Quarterbacks 1. Hey, football fans. The Armchair Quarterback Show is back. Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. A 3-hour wake-up show that'll cover it all. College football, the NFL, fantasy football, and Major League Baseball. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
Enjoy sun-drenched days, epic stays, and plenty of room to roam in Greater Fort Lauderdale. Our hotels, attractions, and restaurants have taken the Visit Lauderdale's Safe and Clean pledge so you can relax and explore with confidence. When you're ready for that well-deserved staycation, our 23 miles of golden beaches await. Find wide-open spaces to hike, bike, kayak, and paddleboard. Visit your favorite attractions, then dine out in style on waterfront patios. Learn more at sunny.org.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone. Done. By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Join the Armchair Quarterback Show for its 9th season. And this year, we're doing it all in one show. Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, we'll be talking college football, the SEC, the Big Ten, other big games of the day. We'll be diving into the National Football League, focusing on the Southern football teams and all the big matchups throughout the land, and doing it while covering the point spreads, the over-unders, the prop bets, fantasy football. We'll tell you who to start and who to sit, and everybody's favorite, the stupid underdog picks. We'll cover Major League Baseball all the way through October and beyond. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings on Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
Make contact. A collective psychosis is sweeping the nation. We're in the thick of the haze craze, and Elysian is introducing an altered state of IPA. Contact Haze is a tangled chemistry of mild haze, low bitterness, and an explosion of hop aroma. This hazy IPA bursts with notes of bright raspberry, currant, citrus, guava, and passion fruit. Available in 6-pack cans in stores and all Seattle Elysian locations. Make contact.
Saturday mornings, the Armchair Quarterbacks, a Southern tradition like no other. We dive into the Southeastern Conference and the Southern teams in the National Football League. We talk the betting lines, fantasy football. So join us Saturday mornings and get your football weekend started right with the Armchair Quarterbacks, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, right here on Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
I might audible. If I audible, I'll use Omaha! Omaha! Red Polly! Red Polly! Blue Poncho! Blue Poncho! Do it! Rambo! Rambo! Give me Kershaw here, Kershaw!
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks.
Stop, Japan! Richmond, New York! Richmond, Florida! Sally, Buffalo! Check! Hey, Short Ox! Luda Raiders! Red Lion! Omaha! How about?
This portion of the show is being brought to you by The Best Things in Life, which are still free with minimum purchase at participating dealers.
Dread running to the post office? Stamps.com brings post office and UPS services right to your computer. Send letters, ship packages, and get up to 40% off USPS and up to 62% off UPS rates. Nearly 1 million small businesses use Stamps.com to save time and money. It's a no-brainer. So skip the post office and visit Stamps.com.
Hi, this is Britney Spears.
What up, it's Jay-Z.
This is Jennifer Lopez. Armchair.
Hey, Braves fans, the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel are bringing you Braves baseball all season long. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and I'll be bringing you Braves baseball play-by-play for the Braves fans out there, for all of Braves country. So pull up an armchair and join us for Braves Country Baseball, first pitch to last pitch, Tuesday and Friday nights, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel. Armchair Quarterback Radio, the gunslingers of sports talk.
And here's second-year quarterback Brett Favre out of Southern Mississippi by way of the Atlanta Falcons. They are hopeful he can succeed in the NFL. Here, Brett Favre, you want a challenge? Try this one. So with their best receiver out of the game from the 35, 19 seconds left. Ball pumps, throws, touchdown! Is there a spark of life in Green Bay? Touchdown! Yes! Danny Marino!
Here's Marino, wide open field, throws for a touchdown. It is number 37 on
the season, breaks the all-time NFL record. Going deep and open. Touchdown, Mark Duper. Duper has returned, and he is super.
They are going to bring pressure again. Rodgers is going to roll away, throws it up in the air, says a prayer, and Janice does it. Stop it! Oh, please!
It's the 21st century, and there are just so many fun and exciting ways to lose your money. So many ways to make your life even more interesting with crippling financial burdens. Why not one more way? New in Canada, it's Solitaire, MMORPG. Play with yourself, online. See other people playing with themselves, online. Poverty Poker Online, now offering Solitaire. A new way to lose all your money, even your home, from the comfort of your own home. TGIF on the Armchair Quarterbacks. Justin Waller and Mac McGee are back at it 6 p.m. Eastern to 7 p.m. Eastern every Friday evening right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel and your local CBS Sports affiliates. We're talking the NFL, Major League Baseball, Southern football, so grab you a cold one. It's finally Friday on the Armchair Quarterbacks, 6 p.m. Eastern to 7 p.m. Eastern. Waller and McGee getting you ready for your sports weekend.
You're listening to CBS Sports Radio. We are all sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Strong opinions and your phone calls. Expect it here. CBS Sports Radio.
Join the Armchair Quarterback Show for its 9th season. And this year, we're doing it all in one show. Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, we'll be talking college football, the SEC, the Big Ten, other big games of the day. We'll be diving into the National Football League, focusing on the Southern football teams and all the big matchups throughout the land, and doing it while covering the point spreads, the over-unders, the prop bets, fantasy football. We'll tell you who to start and who to sit, and everybody's favorite, the stupid underdog picks. We'll cover Major League Baseball all the way through October and beyond. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings on Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
Remember, if for any reason you must leave your radio, please have the man at the door stamp your ear so you can listen again later.
The Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live, covering the AFC South and NFC South along with the rest of the NFL. Subscribe and like us today. Your first choice for sports talk live from the First Coast. Saturday mornings, the Armchair Quarterbacks, a Southern tradition like no other. We dive into the Southeastern Conference and the Southern teams in the National Football League. We talk the betting lines, fantasy football. So join us Saturday mornings and get your football weekend started right with the Armchair Quarterbacks, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, right here on Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
Why did you get so drunk?
You got drunk. I'm just really exhausted.
What's in that cup?
Rum and Cokes?
Do you have any idea how important this is? We're trying to save the public. Really? This is what you're doing? You know what's going to happen?
Hyperbole is done. Now we can finally play the game. We are live in Tallahassee, the capital of the great state of Florida. And Desmond Howard going in motion on 2nd down and 5 for Michigan, playing on real grass at Michigan Stadium. Throw it to the sideline. It is intercepted. Florida State was sitting and waiting for it, and Terrell Buckley has scored a touchdown. How do you do?
Chris Davis takes it in the back of the end zone. He'll run it out to the 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win.
We're down to the 20, but the bands are out on the field. There were flags all most amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football.
In trouble in the backfield, wants to throw now, and he's going to go deep. And I mean deep, and I mean touchdown, Florida! Miracle finish. A Hail Mary that's full of grace for the Gators.
Barkley trying to bounce it. And does escape. Saquon Barkley in the clear. Saquon Barkley. So 79.
It's a 31-30 game, and what does
What are they
Nebraska
doing?
do?
I have not seen the kicker come on the field, and I don't think he's coming on the field. Tom Osborne made this decision a long time ago. He's decided to go for 2 and take a shot at winning. I commend him for it.
This is for the national championship for Nebraska.
The Seminoles of Florida State. It's a battle for flagging rights and recruiting advantages in the state of Florida as the Gators come calling. And Chief Osceola ready to get it started.
Pretty flush. Throws it down.
Caught by Boston College. I don't believe it.
Today, we've got number 1 Seminoles against number 2 Hurricanes.
Good morning. How are you, Doug?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm just trying to get everything organized. It's always a fight after a ball game to get all this junk organized. Welcoming you into the show this morning, y'all. I appreciate you joining us, and we got a lot to go over and a little amount of time to do it. We have a 3-hour kickoff show, and I still feel like we never have enough time to get to what we need to do. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. Did you watch any college football last night? Let's get into that, because there were actually some pretty good games.
Yeah, there was, but I focused on the Braves winning last night.
Okay, so that was a dud. Let's go to the.
I'm sorry. I was just so excited with the Braves playing. I've just gotten into it, and I haven't kind of let go of it yet.
All right. Well, since you are not aware, I will let you know, along with everybody else. Last night there was a thriller in the Pac-12. UCLA remains unbeaten. They are 5-0 now. I don't think a lot of people know that because they're not ranked. They're 5-0.
Yeah. They
topple number 15 Washington. Washington was undefeated, and now UCLA might be the best chance that the Pac-12 has getting a team in. 40-32. And in that game, if you have not seen this young man play, the quarterback for UCLA, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. This kid can ball, and he's going to be a top pick in the NFL draft, I believe, this coming year. And last night, against a pretty good Washington team, all he did was go 24 for 33, 315 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers. He also rushed for 53 yards on 10 carries and a touchdown. And he had a hurdle that is just out of this world. A quarterback hurdled a linebacker in the middle of the field, and it was just unbelievable. So since you missed that, Doug, I would really suggest you go back and watch it today, because it was a phenomenal play. It was one of those, wow. I'm getting ready, and I catch the highlight, and I'd stop what I was doing. I was like, holy crap. So it was one of those type games. Last night, MTSU comes off of that big win against the Hurricanes, and they take one on the chin last night, losing to UTSA. A good game. MTSU loses by 2 touchdowns. It was much closer to that than that. The most important thing that everybody would like to know about what happened last night is that I had a 3-team parlay and it all hit. I had it was a teaser. So I had the 2 overs in the early game and they covered. And then I had Washington, after teasing it, getting 9.5 points. They lose by 8. So winner, chicken dinner. And I had a parlay on the Braves versus the Braves, Mets, and Cubs versus Reds yesterday, and that hit. So I'm off to a good weekend, and away we go. Hopefully, good times keep rolling. We're going to be doing a lot of spreads here. Last night, real quick, in the college football ranks, just want to go over the quick scoreboard that was yesterday. UNLV beat New Mexico 31-20. Boise State 35-13 winners over San Diego State. The Tulane-Houston game, what a wild one that was. Houston, people at the beginning of the season were talking about Houston could be the non-Power 5 team that makes it. They're 2-3 now. Tulane 27-24 winners. Tulane goes to 4-1 on the year. UTSA, Tony Agolini's second favorite team that he always talks about. They beat one of my favorite teams, MTSU. MTSU falls to 3-2, but a really good season for them so far. And that was a conference game, so unfortunately they open conference play with an L. And then, of course, last night, UCLA, Washington. Now, we'll get into what you originally wanted to talk about, jumping off the jump. Let's talk about some pretty big win last night, I think, for the Braves to pull within even of the Mets. The Mets do still have the tiebreaker, but all that gets resolved this weekend because the next 2 days, if the Braves win the next 2 days, the Braves would have the tiebreaker and a 2-game lead going into the last 3 games of the season, which means their magic number would be 1. Conversely, if the Mets win the next 2 games, they would have a 2-game lead with the tiebreaker. And the only way for the Braves to get in would be for the Mets to get swept at home by the Nationals and the Braves sweeping the Marlins on the road, which is a tough task. So that's why these next 2 games are critical. If they split, they leave Atlanta tied for the division with the Mets having the tiebreaker. So that's what's at stake tonight and tomorrow night. Tonight, I believe it's a 7:15 first pitch. It'll be your Fox game of the week. So anyone that has rabbit ears can get it. Tomorrow night is 7:08 first pitch, and it's ESPN game. And so we are going to do the broadcast here on the show on our station here. 7:08 first pitch. I'll have the call, and that should be a good one as well. Tonight you got Kyle Wright versus Scherzer. Tomorrow night, Charlie Morton, who just officially signed his tender to come back. It was a mutual options, and they both agreed to it yesterday. So that puts that in place. And Judge versus Bassett tomorrow night. So that should be a really good matchup. Last night, did you watch majority of the game, I'm assuming?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
What'd you think?
What I saw. What's that?
I want to get your reaction.
Oh. I was worried early on, but I liked how I was watching Freed pitch, which I haven't, not being a full-time Braves fan, I didn't get to see Freed pitch much this season. But early on, I was worried. I was getting nervous, but I liked how Freed settled in. and then retired the next 10. Got some, what, 2 home runs. I thought they looked great. I really excited they can sweep this team. I'm worried about Scherzer pitching tonight because Scherzer's kind of
I don't mean to cut you off, but this is the one I've been worried about all week, Doug. And the reason being is they tend to get to DeGrom eventually. Now, normally it's because we're pitching really well as well, and we just tend to outscore him. Now, when they're in New York, DeGrom usually gets the best of us. When we're in Atlanta, we usually get the best of DeGrom. That's usually just how it happens. But he throws these electric fastballs that eventually our hard hitters get a hold of. Yeah. Scherzer has the nasty stuff, and he's a little more of a pitcher. And he's going to be a tough customer tonight.
Yeah, I am worried about that because he's had your number most of the season, whether it be in Atlanta or in New York. So
he normally has. I mean, even back when he was with Washington, he's just, man, he's a good pitcher. Now last October we got to him, but I think some of that had to do with the fact of the dead arm issue because nobody wants to talk about it, but Roberts managed the Dodgers terribly last offseason. And he really is the one that spit the bit and put all his pitchers on short rest. And then as opposed to looking at the big end game, what he did is he tried to chase the next W all the way down the line. And Snicker just kind of played chess while he was playing checkers. You're not going to get that with Buck Showalter. Buck Showalter to me is one of the better managers of our time. And he's going to be a tough look. I mentioned it last night during the telecast. Is that they've got the way the Mets look at this. You got to look at how the Mets view this. The Mets just want to win one game in Atlanta, right? They're not worried about winning the series. They want to win one game. And with that being said, they have the best closer in Major League Baseball right now. It's not even close. Edwin Diaz is damn untouchable this year. I'm not saying he can't be gotten to because it's not like he hasn't given up any runs. He's pretty automatic. He comes in and he doesn't normally just get you out. He normally mows you down 1, 2, 3. Can't say that for Kenley Jansen. That dude will have you freaking popping pills and looking for ludes and bourbon, just trying to calm the hell down. I was about to throw up on my shoes last night calling that final out of the game last night. I was like, my God. By the way, for people that missed it, Max Fried left the game early. So the Braves do all this. Max Fried only going 5 innings. He was only at 71 pitches. He left early because he had some flu type symptoms. They haven't really gotten into it. It could have been food poisoning or whatever. But anyways, after he threw up in the trash can in the 5th inning, Snicker kind of looked at him and go, what the hell's going on over here? And they go, oh yeah, he's sick. And he goes, man, let's get him out. So with that being said, my point is this with Diaz, they will not be scared to use him for 2 innings tonight. They just won't.
No.
And if he doesn't get in tonight, they won't be scared to use him at some point 2 innings tomorrow night. So I think it's crucial for the Braves to get the lead in these games, to keep that jackass out of the damn game for 2 innings. Because if he comes in for 2 innings, he is eating 6 outs. And that's going to be an issue. Now, the Braves have gotten to Scherzer from time to time, but usually it's not by a lot. Like, it's usually a couple of runs. So Kyle Wright is going to have to do early season Kyle Wright type things. Now, he's only 20-game winner in baseball, so he can definitely go out there and do it, but he can't have a rough few innings and then try to climb back into it like the Braves typically do and bail some of their pitchers out. He's got to be on point from the get-go tonight. This has to be matching. This has to be donut matchings, right? Every time he throws up a donut, you throw up a donut, just go back and forth.
Yep. They have to play perfect baseball. I mean, if they're going to play their best baseball game, tonight is the night. It has to be done.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
I joke in the
last
past.
night we didn't play. I didn't feel like we played great baseball until I'm on a bit midway through the one run that the Mets got early on. That had nothing to do with Max Fried. The ball was hit to Eddie Rosario twice, and they weren't technically errors, but I guarantee if you ask Eddie, he'd say I should have made both of those catches. He stumbled on one, and then the other, he just misjudged it. And long story short, his glove hit the ball. It should have been an error. I don't know why it wasn't. That was some home cooking. Although you're still hurting your pitcher. But the ball hit his glove. The ball hit your glove in the outfield, unless you were like diving in Major League Baseball, that should be an error.
Yeah.
But anyways, they can't do that tonight. And I would be a little shocked if Rosario's in the starting lineup tonight. I think they might go with more defense and just try to take their chances with Grossman. Put him in left field. He's a much better defender. And then save Rosario for pinch hitting duties.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would do, because I don't think you can afford to give up a run here and there. If it's me, and assuming everyone's healthy and ready to roll, the infield's not going to change. My designated hitter is going to be Contreras. And then left field is going to be Grossman, and obviously Harrison, Acuna, and Wright.
Yeah,
that's the way I would do it. Anyways, Braves win the first game of that series, and two more big ones tonight and tomorrow night. So we will look forward to that, and we'll see y'all tomorrow night on the broadcast. Like I said, it's a little earlier to start, 7:08 Eastern. So I'll be coming on probably a few minutes before to give you the starting lineup, so we'll be ready to roll. All right. Let's get into football. Brian, congrats to your Bengals. With the dirty hit on Tua, they knock him out of the game, and the Bengals hold on and win. Dude, what is going on in Miami, man?
I don't know.
The Hurricanes can't beat anybody. The Dolphins are out there trying to lie to us and tell us that Tua's got back problems as he's stumbling around, with definite concussion issues.
Yeah.
LeBron James ain't coming back. The whole damn, mean, they might as well just shut the city down. They just turn off the lights in Miami. It's over.
Yep. Well, they can do that in Vegas too. Miami and Vegas can just shut the lights down.
Dude, Teddy Bridgewater killed me. So I started Waddle in one league. I benched him in another. I started in one league. And I wanted a piece of what I thought was going to be a good shootout. And I think it would have if Tua stays healthy. And Bridgewater. I think he ended up with 30 yards receiving, something like that. 5 dumpy little catches. Bridgewater always shows up and ruins your fantasy day.
Oh, Bridgewater. That's a French word for ruining your fantasy day.
There is no such thing as water under the bridge when there's bridge over your water.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Let's go. If you want to check out something terrible tonight, so you know how you get the Manning cast, and then they get the stupid K-Rod cast, right? Tonight, NC State Clemson, they're going to have Paul McAfee and his goobers in his radio station doing the same thing with NC State Clemson. Like, I want to hear that, because you know what's going to happen. They're going to get sidetracked. They won't even talk about the damn game.
No.
If I'm going to watch any of that junk, it's going to be the Manning cast, and I really don't like the Manning cast. I think the Manning cast gets a little dull, because it really comes down to who they're you know why you watch the Manning cast is if you don't give 1-2 craps about the ball game.
Right.
And you may like their guests. but I watched the Manning cast a couple times last year. That's it. I lost interest when they started bringing goobers like LeBron James and, Russell Wilson. Just they were just grabbing big name athletes, but people with nothing to say, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that's going to go on tonight. And I was like, man, thank God Braves Mets, right? Oh, by the way, they are expecting perfect weather in Atlanta the next 2 days. So perfect weather in Tallahassee. The Florida State Seminoles ranked for the first time in 5 seasons. And when they were ranked that year, it was just the preseason ranking, and we got smoked by Virginia Tech. So that was it. So realistically, the last time we were ranked in the regular season was 2017, 6 seasons ago, 5 years. And we're taking on Wake Forest. That's not going to be an easy game. I don't know if you saw this or not, Doug, but Wake Forest tried to get out of playing the game early in the week, stating that they were not going to play in a hurricane and put their kids through all that stuff. And then, of course, all he did was get trolled when the hurricane went across the west coast to Florida into the southeastern part of Florida and up the coast and nowhere near Tallahassee. And so nothing but trolls on Twitter taking pictures of clear skies in Hassey near the stadium, on the campus, and they were all tagging Wake Forest and the coach in, saying, yeah, I sure hope y'all can find a way to get through all this terrible weather here. And I was going back and forth with Justin on the phone. I said, man, this is kind of cool because I don't remember the last time someone ran and hid from Florida State in football. It's been like Jameis Winston. That's how long ago it's been. Because people were like, I don't want to play with them. Usually they're like, hey, yeah, look, come on, let's go. Let's beat them. So I think this is going to be a really good game. There is no way I would give up 6.5 points. Florida State's 6.5 point favorite against Wake Forest. There is no way in hell I would do that. Wake Forest always moves the ball on Florida State. Sam Hartman's one of the best college quarterbacks in all of college football.
Yep.
And he's going to find his spots. He's going to make his plays. I do think Florida State wins because I think a lot of people are sleeping on the fact that FSU's defense is much improved. We come in relatively healthy into this game. Our quarterback situation is vastly improved. Not only do you have Jordan Travis, but if he gets hurt, you've got a very good backup quarterback in Tate Rodemaker. And then the receiving core at Florida State is one of the best in the country right now. And I never thought I would ever say that in the near future. Micah Pittman, if you haven't seen him play, he's a beast. He can go line up out wide. They put him in the slot a lot. But the guy, if there's one guy, if you watch this game today, Doug, 3:30 Eastern, if you watch this game, there's one guy you want to keep an eye on. His name is Johnny Wilson, wide receiver, number 14 for Florida State. 6'7", heading towards the NFL, just a sophomore, and an absolute, when I say beast, it's like Matt Collins is playing college football, if I can give you a reference. He is a beast.
Wow.
He has a lot to deal with, and the Florida State running game is so much better than it has been. I like Florida State to win this game. I'm going to say they win it comfortably, 42-31, but I still would not. I wouldn't give the points up. I would. If I took Florida State in this game, I'm going to do it with some kind of a teaser. It's a perfect teaser because anytime you get a 6.5 point teaser, a 6.5 point spread, and you can do a 6 point teaser, that means that all your team has to do is win. So, what say you in this game?
For the most part, I agree with what you're saying. I mean, I think Florida State's going to win. I have a little bit more confidence in Florida State winning. I got Florida State winning by 2 touchdowns. I don't like this matchup. I don't like this matchup for Wake Forest. I think you're going to win by a lot more. I think you're being a little bit conservative in this game. I don't like Wake Forest at all. I just have a feeling,
right.
like I said.
And one thing that I will say will play into it, they had a really tough game against Clemson last week. Took them into overtime.
Yeah.
That takes a toll on a college football team the next week. Now, we'll see if they come in ready. I would think they would. I think we'd have a much better chance of catching them sleepwalking if it was an early kickoff. It's a 3:30 kickoff, so that's not too bad. I just know that Florida State, even though they're undefeated right now, there are two games they could have very easily have lost. Because when the game is close, I'm still not 100% sold on the fact that Norvell is going to make the right call. He has gotten fortunate, and we've won anyways. LSU, the pitch, incredibly stupid. Somehow we end up blocking a kick and we win the game, right? And then, of course, the Louisville game with the end arounds and the jet sweeps on 1st and goal. What the hell are you doing? And then they have to throw a backdoor fade with 1 foot dragging in bounds. Made the play. That easily could have gone the other way. So with that being said, I like Florida State to win. If I'm a bettor, I'm not giving up those points, but you have at it.
Yeah.
Real quick, who are the Raiders playing?
Raiders are playing the Broncos.
Raiders playing the Broncos.
Raiders are playing the Broncos, and that's
where's that game at?
What's that?
Where's that game at?
I want to say they're in Denver.
Good morning, Tony, and congratulations to your UTSA boys taking out MTSU. That's a lot of letters.
That was a lot of letters, and it was a good game.
UTSA knocks off MTSU after MTSU beats DU. So how about that? Welcoming on to the show, Mr. Tones, Tampa Tones. Tampa, how are you?
Good, my friend. Ready for another good day. You know, yesterday night felt like an appropriate night of college football. You had 5 or 6 games on. You had an undefeated pack battle. They should do that more often. And now we're primed for a big Saturday and Sunday of football and baseball. So a lot of sports filled this weekend. I'm ready to rock and roll.
And Joey, how the hell are you?
Doing really good. Tomorrow headed to Indianapolis to take on the Titans in a big divisional game. So going to lay back today, watch college football, watch a little baseball, and relax for tomorrow.
Tighten up, baby. Let's go. Let's do it.
Here we go. The rivalry.
Yeah, here we go. The battle of the two losers trying to be the least loser on this Sunday.
Who is the biggest loser? We will find out.
As they knock each other off, the Jags will go into Philly and knock off the Eagles, and there we'll sit going, son of a gun. Trevor Lawrence, it's TL time. All right, well, let's Doug, real quick, give me a prediction on the Raiders. I mean, if they don't win now, if they can't beat damn Denver and they're 0-3, I'm gonna have to ask you to go out and get some Florida State gear or something by next week, man. Because that damn
you don't have to ask me. I'll gladly switch. No, I got the Raiders winning this 24-21.
24-21. I hope y'all win, man. I don't want to see the season go to crap for the Raiders this quickly. And I
told you this.
And now that you tell me you're playing Denver, nothing against the Broncos, but I am not a big Russell Wilson fan anymore, man. I used to like to watch him play, but his personality gives me the creeps now. Mr. Unlimited. All right, so let's go ahead and do some stupid underdog picks, get you caught up on what's going on there. Doug's torching the place. He's going torched earth. You're going to start swinging for the fence. If not, things are going to get ugly.
Doug is running up the score.
Doug, the bastard, has got 28.5 points. Bobby has 19. And nobody else is in double digits. Only Tones is in the plus side at 6.
Oof.
Everyone else is in the negative. How about that? How about that? Doug keeps getting to go first because he's on first. No fault of his own. So today I'm going to let Tones and Joey go first to give them a better chance. Doug, I'm still going to wait till later because I normally do, and I don't really have a game plan. I kind of see where everybody's going, but I've got a few games in mind, but I haven't really. I've been so wrapped up stressing about the hurricane and damn the Mets that college football has been on the back burner for me. And I also, in the back of my mind, I kept thinking Wake Forest was going to find a way to weasel out of this game, so I didn't even know they were going to play. Joey, you've got the worst between everyone about to make the picks. You're at -4.
Yep.
What is your pick this week?
Well, I got some catching up to do, so I'm going to take, obviously, a little bit of a more super underdog than usual. I'm going to take Boston College at home. They're getting, they're getting 13.5.
You watched Boston College play football a week ago.
It was not good.
Not good.
Not good at all. But, Louisville isn't playing that good of football either. Their quarterback situation, he's more of a runner that doesn't really have a lot of, passing game going there. So I don't like Boston College a lot, but they're at home. Mr. Yurkovich at quarterback for them. So you know what? I'm going to take the 13.5 and somehow try to squeak out a win. I was looking at some other games.
Luck.
Yeah, I know. I was looking at maybe LSU, but at the end of Auburn against LSU. But at the end of the day, I'm going with some bigger points. I need some comeback. Boston College plus 13.5.
And for folks who have not seen this before, what we do the stupid underdog picks is you're trying to pick a team to win outright, and then you get the entire spread. So if Boston College wins that game, he's going to get 13.5 points, and we keep up throughout the entire season. Conversely, if the team covers the spread, you get 2. If they don't cover the spread, you get -2. So that's how we go. All right. Tones, where are you going? You got the W last week. You got Rutgers.
Yeah, we're trying to
right?
The fight in Shianos, however you want to call it. We're trying to stay in positive waters here. I'm not swinging for the home run fence.
What conference are you going to this week? So I can go ahead and look it up.
We're looking at some Conference USA Sunbelt action. We got Troy, not the lock. The lock we got NFL talk this week. Don't worry. Troy is heading to Western Kentucky. I'm going for my home run next week. I'm hoping I just get to chip off the old block dog over there as he's running up the score. I'm down more than 20 points. So I'm going for the 5.5 points with Troy. They're getting 5.5 at Western Kentucky. Troy's coming off a win against Marshall. I think they continue to ride the hot wave, and I think they get a win on the road here against Western Kentucky. Trying to chip away at this point before next week I go for the home run hit after hopefully garnering 5.5 from Troy this week.
All right, Doug, as you go to pad your lead, where are you going?
I'm going to go really stupid pick this week.
Rutgers. Go Rutgers. They're getting 39 against Ohio State.
I said stupid, not insane.
Everybody, you'd just be coasting at that point. Missouri.
No, I'm thinking. I like the matchup with Alabama and let me see who they playing this week. The Alabama Arkansas.
I knew
you knew I was.
It's always the guy that doesn't know anything that ends up winning. He's like, I'll take the team playing Alabama, whoever the hell that is. Yeah, so
Alabama, Arkansas, and I'm going.
I had that one circled. I probably should have went ahead and just picked it, but I'm a little concerned that Alabama might blow their doors off.
I'm not, because Alabama's offensive line is not playing well as they last year, and they don't play well and they're the one time they played on the road, they haven't played that well. And they're playing in Arkansas. And I think Arkansas is just going to laid back, and I think it's going to be a low-scoring affair. That's why I'm taking Arkansas and the plus 17.
I'll tell you where I'm going. I just found it. What time is this kickoff? What a weird kickoff. 2:00 Eastern time. Give me the Oregon State Beavers getting 10.5 at Utah. I still believe Utah is well overrated. What the hell are they doing back at number 12?
I like that one.
They lost to Florida. Florida's lost 2 games. This is not a good football team. The only thing that concerns me is that it's on the road. If this game was in Corvallis, I'd be all about it, man. But this is what Utah has done while everyone's like, oh, they're playing really good football, man. They're super. So they lost to Florida, who can't bust a grape in a fruit fight. Then they rebounded to beat Southern Utah. Do they even have a football team? Are they just making up birds and putting them Southern Utah? That's got to be a JUCO. And then they play San Diego State, this is not a good San Diego State squad this year. And then they take on the Fighting Hermanless Edwards after they run Herman Edwards off and they blow out Arizona State. So that's all they've done this year, and they're number 12 in the country. What the hell is going on? So I'm really just doing it because I'm kind of pissed. But anyways, I'm going to take the Fighting Beavers. And if you don't want to, if you're not a fan of the Beaver, I don't know what to tell you, buddy.
Oh, Beavers.
Love the Beavers, man.
Doug, what is your walk-off for the day? You cheating bastard with your 28.5 points.
My walk-off is just tonight, Braves, Mets, all on the line tonight.
Yes, sir. 7:15 Eastern time. Looking forward to that. And it comes off perfectly because Florida State game will be ending as that game begins. So my day's set. I'll have other games on, but that's what I'm. Florida State, Wake Forest at 3:30, and then Braves at 7:15. Looking forward to it. Might be a few more cervezas thrown back, and then got to get back down to the business. Tomorrow night we will have the game. All right, Doug. We will see you next week. Bad luck to you because someone's got to catch you. Roll Tide, right? We're going to take a quick 60-second break. When we come back, it's more college football here on the Armchair Quarterback Show. Join the Armchair Quarterback Show for its 9th season. And this year, we're doing it all in one show. Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern. We'll be talking college football, the SEC, the Big Ten, other big games of the day. We'll be diving into the National Football League, focusing on the Southern football teams and all the big matchups throughout the land, and doing it while covering the point spreads, the over-unders, the prop bets, fantasy football. We'll tell you who to start and who to sit, and everybody's favorite, the stupid underdog picks. We'll cover Major League Baseball all the way through October and beyond. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings on Armchair Quarterbacks1 YouTube channel. Welcome back. CBS Sports Radio, YouTube Live. We're going to try to jam some college football in here before we head to some NFL, and then we will revisit college football. The show being on Saturdays, we try to talk predominantly college football, but we don't do a Sunday show anymore, so we do like to do some NFL. But before we do that, let's get back into the world of college football. Let's start talking some point spreads and some games we might have on our mind. The game that I want to talk about first off the jump, this is a noon kickoff. You're going to hit the ground running today. I cannot wait for this game. I think this is going to be the best game of the day, possibly. Kentucky at Ole Miss. Number 7 team in the country gets number 14 team in the country. Kentucky is number 7 in the country. They're 6.5-point underdog. I think a lot of that it's a lot of Lane Kiffin love, and I still think no one gets excited about Kentucky because they're not sexy. They don't put a lot of points. They play smash mouth football. They play good defense. That does not get anyone excited.
And they keep moving up the rankings too. I was thinking about taking him for my stupid underdog pick because they're getting 6.5 on the road as the 7th team in the country.
Yeah, the only reason why I didn't is because Doug has such a big lead. If I don't find something double digit, I'm not even going to mess with it because I got to carve into something. I mean, heck, even if I score, I barely get my head above water if I hit today. I'll still be down by 20 something, whatever.
What is Doug's scouting report? That guy is on fire.
Well, I think the main thing is he just closes his eyes and points at the tape. I mean, you heard him a second ago. He goes, that team that's playing Alabama.
He just gave away his strategy all in 1 second.
I think what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to get my dog to just slap the paw and go, all right, we're going with that one. Let's go. Let's go. It's really irritating because I'm the 2-time defending champion. I have no chance of winning this at this point. He can just run away and hide. If he just covers the spread, he's probably going to win. Now, Bobby could make it interesting, but it's really difficult. It sounds like, oh man, you could just swing for the fences and get one. It never happens. We're like, you grab the Rutgers is upset Ohio State. Yeah, in theory you could do that, but Rutgers is going to get their ass pounded today. So it's just all right. Kentucky Ole Miss, though, man, I really think that this could be one hell of a game. Kentucky has already done quite a bit. I think most people are going to remember the win in the Swamp. Ole Miss. There's another SEC game I can't wait to talk about because I find it strange. Ole Miss, they are one of the more quiet Lane Kiffin teams to be sitting undefeated in the top 15, and you don't hear anyone talk about them.
Yeah, not at all. And the one thing I do like about Kentucky, as you're just alluding to, their offense has been pretty dynamic this year, not ever getting under 26 points. I know they haven't played a ton of great teams. Their biggest win coming at Florida, but Will Levis, as long as he's putting in that special what does he put in? His mayonnaise to his coffee. I think with his 10 touchdowns, 1,100 yards, they might be able to take over Ole Miss. And I know a lot of people are going to be probably scared. They're like, wait, this 6.5, something doesn't sound right. And usually that means the favorite and Ole Miss might trounce through. I don't think so. I think Kentucky keeps it close all game. And I think Will Levis at the end of the day is a better quarterback on the field. So he'll come through with a clutch play and maybe win this football game.
I have not even watched them play this year. So I'm looking forward to this game because I have not watched Dark Jackson play, but I've heard good things. I've heard good things about their entire offense, but they've been running the ball a lot. Zach Evans, what is the over-under on this game? That would be kind of the number to 55, man. I think it's a very high over-under.
Mm-hmm. I do too, because their quarterback, Dart, only has 5 touchdowns. It doesn't seem like you said they're using Judkins a lot in the running game with 70 carries already.
And Kentucky plays a lot of those nitty-gritty kind of 21 to 24 type football games. So I can easily see that one falling just short, landing under that mark. I do like the under there.
That's a really strange one. I'm a little surprised it's that. I know it's college football and scores can get away from you quick, but that's a really high scoring game if it turns out that way.
Scores could also get obsolete quick too, right? We could see some teams just turnover after turnover. I think that game is going to be 20 to 24 type, so we'll see.
All right, the other game in the SEC that I think is the most interesting. Let's put Alabama, Arkansas on the back burner for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about a real game in the SEC. Let me find out when the kickoff of this thing is. This one interests me because Texas A&M is number 17. And they are going into Mississippi State, and Mississippi State is favored.
Wow.
By 4. Now, I know it's hard to win at the Cowbells. That line's gone down, by the way. It was 5 or 5.5. So someone put some money on A&M. But I have a hard time believing if Mississippi State wins this game, it's going to be by a lot. I'd be really tempted to grab the Aggies. What say y'all?
Yeah, I like A&M here personally too. They're playing a better brand of football as of late after some rumors to start the year that their head coach needs to get going a little bit. They won a big 1 or 2. So I do like the point spread. They could lose by a field goal and you could still cover. This is one of those big type football games. And as you said, the line's moving in one direction. So you got your people, Faith and Tech. I got Tech with the points in this one.
And I'm gonna go the opposite of you all here. Mississippi State, maybe because I had a terrible teacher in 7th grade who was a big A&M fan. But that being said, Mississippi State is not
always a solid reason.
Yeah, that's always a top 3 reason to bet, right? Because of a teacher from back in the day. But no, Mississippi State. I mean, listen, they haven't gotten under 30 points this season. I know that they're not ranked. A&M is the flashier team, but on their home field, as Mac alluded to, hard place to play. I'm going to take actually and give the points because I think they might win by a touchdown in this one.
A touchdown.
Because the spread's 4, I believe.
You're saying you think Mississippi State's going to win that, man? Oh, man.
I know. It's a tough. I haven't been overly impressed with the little bit I watched A&M.
Here's a fun teaser I'm thinking about taking. Rolling my winnings from taking the Cubs and the Braves yesterday.
There you go.
What if you take A&M plus 10.5 on a 6.5 point teaser?
Ooh,
and take Kentucky, Mississippi State under? It would be a total of 61 at that point.
I like both of those a lot, honestly.
Yeah, I do too. I think that would be.
I would jump on that.
61 points for a Kentucky Ole Miss game.
A beaver of. Say.
You know, 61 points for a Kentucky team. Like I said, Kentucky has the defense to shut anyone down at any time. So 61 points, sign me up for that under with the teaser.
Yeah, I mean, that in A&M getting 10.5 points. I think I'm gonna jump on that sucker, man. I think it's on.
Lock it in.
How about South Carolina and South Carolina State played on Thursday? I did not see that.
I took the over.
That Tones did.
On the third TV. Some of us have more than one TV to watch, but
oh, my bad, man. My bad.
But I had the over actually, so I was pleasantly surprised to see that one come in with just about 2 minutes left in the game. So I was happy because the Dolphins didn't do it for me. So South Carolina State did.
A couple other games in the SEC. I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and go back to the Big Ten.
Man, there's a couple killer 3:30 games out of the Big 12 as well.
I'm so happy there is Notre Dame's off. I'm looking forward to watching.
We'll circle back to that, but before we go to break, I do want to hit a couple of Big Ten things. First of all, Penn State Northwestern. Penn State giving up 25 points. That game's 3:30 ESPN. It's in Happy Valley. That's a lot of points. I get it. Northwestern sucks, but that's a lot of points. Would you feel comfortable giving up 25, or would you be more comfortable taking the over under at 50.5?
I'd be more comfortable taking the over under at 50.5. Listen, Penn State, they always beat who they're supposed to beat. The thing with them is they hardly cover those big spreads. Last week, we've seen it with Central Michigan. We've seen it a lot last season under Coach Franklin. This has written winning by 17 to 21 point margin all over it for Penn State. Northwestern's a bad football team.
Do you like the over or the under?
I'm leaning towards the under personally. I think it's more of an under type game. I see it maybe like, 30-14 type of football game where Penn State wins comfortably, but they don't cover, but the under does come in comfortably. I think it's going to be a lot of running in this game, and Penn State might be looking ahead, even though they never should, to their big matchups coming up against the Michigans and Ohio States of the world.
Here's one of my, what season is this? Is this football season or is this basketball season? Indiana is 3-1, traveling to 1-3 Nebraska. But yet Nebraska is a 5.5-point favorite.
Yeah, and anytime Nebraska is a favorite, I'm not taking them. We got a Nebraska fan listening to us right now, and I'm sorry, but I'm not doing it. Indiana got a little screwed last week on covering the spread. I think they cover just easily this week, go into Nebraska. Just because Mr. Frost is gone doesn't mean that roster isn't. I think Indiana takes care of business and gets the win. I'm on the Indiana money line.
Yeah, and we had
Indiana's going to win it. Okay.
Straight up. Yep.
We had a comment in our chat from our Nebraska watcher. He said every team that has beaten Nebraska this season has lost their games, starting with Northwestern week 1 and Oklahoma last week. So curse in Nebraska continues. I think Indiana beats them this week and gets their doors kicked in next week, whoever the hell they play. But I'm going with them this week. That football team is a track race right now. They're hurting bad. Anyone
I don't know if they'll win, but I'm definitely thinking about that 5.5. I think that's a lot of points to give up. When you're 1-3, that means you find ways to lose. So even if you win a game, it's probably going to be close. Man, 5.5 points, that's a lot. And Indiana's has had some decent recruiting classes. I'd be lying to you if I said I watched a bunch of Indiana football this year, but I'd be willing to. I'll tell you a team that I have been watching because I've been very, very impressed. Minnesota is cooking, baby.
Oh,
they're a 9.5-point favorite at home against Purdue, and I think they're going to box Purdue's ears in and win that game by like 20.
Yeah, I hope Michigan State left their team bus in Michigan because they got boat raced last week by Minnesota. Minnesota looks very impressive to this point. I was a little iffy on them a couple weeks ago. Not so fast, not anymore. As the great Lee Corsi said, I'm taking Minnesota. Give them all the points. Purdue is not going to be able to keep up offensively. Minnesota rolls today.
And I'm a big fan of Minnesota's head coach, PJ Fleck. He's been doing some great things over there for that program. Starting a couple years back, they had a really good season when they had Antoine Winfield and Tyler Johnson on their team. I agree. I think they roll Purdue today as well. I think Minnesota's playing next level type football by now. I see this as a 10-point game. I would give the points with Minnesota. They're just playing next level Big Ten ball for their standards at the very least under Coach Fleck.
All right, let's take a really quick break. When we come back, we are going to be talking the National Football League, and we're going to circle back to college football because there's still a lot to go over and a little time to do it. We will be back in a flash here on the Armchair Quarterbacks Kickoff Show. Saturday mornings, the Armchair Quarterbacks, a Southern tradition like no other. We dive into the Southeastern Conference and the Southern teams in the National Football League. We talk to betting lines, fantasy football. So join us Saturday mornings and get your football weekend started right with the Armchair Quarterbacks, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, right here on Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
G'day, plays Dean, calling from Cyprus. Buongiorno, Dino. On his back. Holy dooly, a delicate matter, but a bird wingman is useless, so there are rules. Okay. Only put three where he can't reach. Between his shoulder blades. The safe zone. Well, anything else? Whack it on thick, mate. Last thing you want to do is a second coach.
And remember, Dino, the following things are not permitted.
Eye contact.
Scented candles.
Power balance.
And do not apply if he's wearing budgie smugglers.
Are we all clear? Crystal. Cheers, fellas.
No dramas.
Armchair.
Hey, Braves fans, the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel are bringing you Braves baseball all season long. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and I'll be bringing you Braves baseball play-by-play for the Braves fans out there, for all of Braves country. So pull up an armchair and join us for Braves country baseball, first pitch to last pitch, Tuesday and Friday nights, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel.
What happens when 5 eligible bachelors welcome a little girl into their lives?
Hey, it's my turn in the bathroom.
Stop hilarity. My 5 uncles.
Hey, Gina, welcome to your new home. You sleep in there, and we all sleep in here.
The show that shows family values exist even in unconventional families.
Oh, what are you guys doing in there?
Taking hilarious comedy in a whole new funny direction.
I don't get it. Why don't any of you guys have a steady girlfriend? I'm an emotionally abused orphan. Can I get in on any of these group hugs?
My Five Uncles, Thursday nights on LSBC.
Join the Armchair Quarterback Show for its 9th season. And this year, we're doing it all in one show. Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, we'll be talking college football, the SEC, the Big Ten, other big games of the day. We'll be diving into the National Football League, focusing on the Southern football teams and all the big matchups throughout the land. And doing it while covering the point spreads, the over-unders, the prop bets, fantasy football. We'll tell you who to start and who to sit. And everybody's favorite, the stupid underdog picks. We'll cover Major League Baseball all the way through October and beyond. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings on Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel. Welcome back. CBS Sports Radio. Check your local affiliates or do the smart thing and find us on YouTube. YouTube.com/Armchair Quarterbacks 1. Please like and subscribe today. And we are heading for another big week 4 of the NFL. Of course, one game already in the books. Bengals beat the Dolphins on Thursday night, and we've got a couple of NFL games. We're going to talk a little bit about that, and then we'll get back into some college football. NFL real quick. I think the first game that we want to jump off with, look, it's Titans, it's Colts, right?
Let's go.
Titans are 1-2. Colts are 1-1. Both staring up at the 2-1 Jaguars. And in the division, believe it or not, with still a puncher's chance is the Houston Texans, who sit at 0-2-1. If they were to pull off the upset and beat the Chargers, they'll be right there in the mix. By the way, I don't hate that game, by the way, if taking Texans to win that game. I think the Chargers could be walking into a hornet's nest. Regardless, I love the over. The over in the Chargers-Texans game is 45.
It was a good game last year when they played too.
It was, and it was a shootout, remember?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So
it took a big comeback for the Chargers to win that one.
And I can see the same thing. Giving up 5.5 on the road is a tough thing to do in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Colts, Titans, 43 is the over. First of all, that's going to hit. What the hell? 43? These teams normally both score in about the mid-20s. So if you add that together, that's damn near 50 points. I feel like 43 is a pretty solid over to grab tomorrow. I'm going to wait to see how the dust settles on my Saturday, but I definitely don't like taking this point spread at all, because 3.5 is right in that wheelhouse where I could see the Colts winning by 4, winning by 7, but I could also see the Titans either winning or losing the game by a field goal. These teams tend to play really good games together. By the way, I would be remiss if I did not mention the fact, did y'all see what happened in Seattle last night? Don't worry about the Washington football game. Did y'all see what happened in Seattle last night?
Off the follow poll, I saw your tweet.
Yeah, the Seattle Mariners have entered the MLB postseason for the first time since 2001. Mm-hmm. So it's actually been 21 seasons, but it's a 20-year drought, if that makes sense.
That's incredible, and hats off to the Mariners. They just have
Cal Raleigh, Cal Raleigh is one of their better young players. He hit the home run off the foul pole. Look, they were going to get in. This was just to secure a playoff spot. You still have 5 days left. Their magic number was 1 going into last night. But what an incredible way to enter the postseason for the first time in 20 years. A walk-off that went screaming down the line and just bounces off the damn foul pole.
And Cal Raleigh is really on the up and up this year, coming into the year. Only 25 years old. Not a lot of people.
He's a good prospect.
He really is, and his power really showed this year. I owned him several weeks in fantasy at several points in times when my catchers like Tyler Stevenson or Salvador Perez are on the IL. He reminds me with Mike Zunino, but more upside even.
Can't own him. You can only govern him. That's according to the NBA.
Yeah, I was his governor. Sorry, I was his that makes me feel even worse. Like I govern the damn guy. It's like, geez, I was his governor.
You're telling me I'm your governor, and all of it makes me feel like that you should put something slinky on.
Yeah, it's like, all right, but either way, man, having that guy was a hoot, and the Mariners roster is really fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this postseason, not just for the Braves, but man, it's good to have new blood in there. You're gonna have Seattle in there. You're gonna have Toronto in there. The Guardians are in, which nobody saw. I don't know what the odds were, but man, if you took the Guardians to win the AL Central beginning of the year. And I was pulling for them all year, but I never thought they would actually get in.
Yeah, and then at the same time, like you said, you got a lot of new fresh blood. And then we got the people who are going to be hated, right? The Yankees, the Mets, you got the Dodgers, the Astros. So you got your new blood and the people hated. It's going to be a great MLB postseason. And that crowd in Seattle last night gave me the chills. It was rocking. It was awesome to see. I cannot wait for the MLB postseason.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, the Braves went up there and played a couple of weeks ago, and that crowd gets into it. So that's going to be a fun series. I hope they get to host. Tampa Bay's in again. I don't really care about the Tampa Bay Rays hosting. Look, I pull for them, but they have a terrible home crowd, and I would rather see fan bases that actually support their team get to host. So I kind of hope that Tampa goes to. In a perfect world, I would like to see Tampa go to Cleveland and Toronto go to Seattle.
And I think that matchup would be actually beneficial for Tampa as well. Like you said, it doesn't do great for them having a home series anyways. I know Cleveland has some good pitching, but Tampa, their offense doesn't have too much star power to it. I think that's a matchup they could win because their lineup is very similar to the Guardians. Tampa is getting healthy at the right time, so we'll see if they can make their.
I definitely think the harder road is to go to Toronto or to go to Seattle as opposed to going to Cleveland.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with you, especially Toronto, right? It's just across the border. It's a farther travel. It's just that one's really tough, especially Seattle. That one's far as heck too. Cleveland makes you feel a little better. Only a couple states away. You don't have to travel as far. I think the Rays' most beneficial matchup, even though the standings wouldn't allude to it, would be the Cleveland Guardians.
All right, let's get back into the NFL. Titans getting 3.5 over under. Joey, where are you leaning, man? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, the only thing I really like is the over in this.
Yeah, I'm actually right in line with you, and that's surprise on rivalry week. But this game last time they played, it went into overtime. We all know what happened there. Carson Wentz threw it in his own end zone. Titans got it and beat us twice last year. I think we look for a little bit of revenge. I think both offenses have a little more luck than they have the past couple of weeks. Derrick Henry seemed to get more footing under him last week. Matt Ryan had that game-winning drive. I think it's going to finish in the mid-20s, like you said. I'm going to go with the Colts 28-23 over the Titans, and we see a little more offense. And like I said, I watched that Titans game last week. I know it's the Raiders, but they seem to get things going in the first half. The Titans always seem to start hot as they score a touchdown on each of their first possessions in all the games they played, and then it tails off in the second half. But we're going to see a lot of firepower that you haven't seen the past few weeks. So I'm going to go 28-23. Give me the over, but I'm staying away from the spread.
Yeah, I'm going to.
I could see the Titans. I could see the Titans winning 27-23 or something.
I'm gonna tell you what, man. I'm a little tempted to grab it today because I feel like that thing's gonna skyrocket.
Hey,
Because
if you got a good feel,
you think it's gonna get lower than 43? I don't.
no, and I know both defenses. You know, a Mike Vrabel led defense. The Colts have been pretty good this year, but again, these teams are familiar with each other. They know each other. Taylor and Henry, I see having good days tomorrow, and if that happens, it's not going to be a low-scoring football game. Give me the over.
I think the exact opposite. I think it's an under type game. I think you got two of the best running backs in the league who are going to drain a lot of this clock. I think what you've seen from Tannehill and Matt Ryan so far will hesitate you to throw the ball around a lot. I think you're going to get one of these games where Taylor gets a lot of carries, Henry gets a lot of carries. I think this game, I was going to say it.
I heard about Taylor this week. Are you ready for this one? So he missed practice the other day, right?
First time ever.
First time he's ever missed practice in high school, college, or the NFL. He's a running back.
Insane.
And he went to Wisconsin where he got 1 million carries.
I don't want to put a jinx on a guy, but that's as durable as it gets. Now, you know what's going to happen. His leg.
I see what you're doing, Mr.
His leg's going to fall off in the shower tonight when he's going, what the hell just happened? Dun, dun, dun.
His third leg.
I've never heard of that. A running back nowadays not missing a single practice? That's a game. We're talking about practice. Practice?
Practice, man.
Not a game. Not a game. We're talking about practice.
Really impressive feat there, especially for running back, as you alluded to.
I got a newfound respect for him. I always thought he was a great player, but man, that's saying
that's beautiful brilliance based on Taylor and the Colts' behalf. But give me the under in this one. I think this is the first noon game that finishes and wraps up tomorrow, or 1 o'clock game, I should say, that finishes and wraps up tomorrow. I got a 17-13 type ball game in this one.
I would be shocked if it's
Man, I'll be a little disappointed with all the money I spent in tickets. But hey, that's a close game still.
I mein, these teams are built on defense. They're not, their quarterbacks, until their quarterbacks start winning them games or, doing as such. I just see the running games out in full effect. I see both backfields getting 25 to 30 carries at the very least.
In Indianapolis, the last few times. I've got it in front of me. You ready?
Let's go.
65 points was the total last year.
Yep.
The year before that, 71 points. The year before that, 48. The year before that, 36. So there's one. The year before that, 48. The year before that, 36. I feel like I would be playing 36 on the lotto today. And then we won't go much back further because then you're talking about neck beard and, all kinds of different but this is normally a high scoring rivalry. It gets a little low scoring in Nashville, but I think one of the reasons for that is a lot of times they play this and it seems like that game's later in the year a lot of times. And so you can get some bad weather in Nashville for that, right?
Yeah,
but
we had a Thursday
in the dome where they play fake football. I mean, light it up, baby.
I hope we could. The Ryan Tannehill bootleg has killed us for about 4 straight years. If they haven't figured that out by now, I just pray we have.
Well, the problem is, and I would make fun of teams for falling for that, but I wouldn't. But you can't, because you're trying to make sure Derrick Henry doesn't run you over.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't go, oh, watch the fake. Dude, I'm trying to make sure that I'm watching my spine. Just shut up about the fake. If he gets 7 yards, that's fine.
There was a crazy statistic where Jonathan Taylor and Derrick Henry, on like 25-30% of their runs, they're getting hit right at the line of scrimmage or before it. So the offensive line's got to do better to get those guys a couple yards to get going.
All right, let's go to Bucs Chiefs. The other big game in our world. That's the Sunday night game. Really, for once in a while, I'm looking forward to the Sunday night football game. Thank you.
That 11 to 10 game didn't get you going.
What's that?
You told me that right last week. That 11 to 10 game, you're like, don't watch that.
Broncos Niners.
There was some reason why I had to dip in at the end to watch. I forget what it was. I think it was fantasy related. It was absolute garbage. But this ought to be a fun one. And man, I hope all the players are healthy on both sides because I want to see a shootout.
Yep.
I'm also starting Tom Brady in one of my leagues. So
same here.
No,
let's do it, baby.
Quit screwing the pooch, Tom, and let's do some things. You're starting to make me think that you actually did retire and just forgot to tell the Bucks. You know what Bruce Arians is saying? Got out just in time. I was going to have to actually coach or something. Woo, get out of here.
Oh man, and a lot of Bucks fans are
poor Todd's getting the crap laid at his feet again. He can't win for losing, man.
I do think this is a week that Brady starts going off. You know, you got an emotional week behind him after the hurricane in Florida impacted a lot of people there. And then you just got your guys coming back, right? You got Mike Evans coming back into the fold of things. The three wide receivers who lead the Bucks in targets to this point have been Russell Gage, Scotty Miller, and Brashad Perriman. This week,
pick 'em, and it's 45.5.
Mm-hmm. It was 2.5 yesterday. So the lines, it was Chiefs minus 2.5 yesterday. So the line's moving down towards Tampa. So someone had to put some money on the Bucks overnight.
That's right. Well, also it's because they're trying to get you to even out the money on the other side too. So
yeah, you know,
it was Chiefs 2.5, 3 points beginning of the week. That's when I would have taken Kansas City. But at this point now, I'd be leaning towards the Bucks. You got to go with the home team. It's not do or die for either team. Kansas City's coming off a tough loss, but it's not a long week, right? It's not a long week. I like the over. And this feels like a game that Tom Brady pushes the sun back up in the sky one more time and says, "It ain't over yet, guy. Okay, don't quit shoveling dirt on me just yet."
Yeah, and another interesting thing
Hey,
here
you
is
know what? I don't care who you're pulling for. Make sure you enjoy this one because I don't know if we'll get another matchup. Brady versus Mahomes. This might be it.
And how many times do you get both of these teams coming off a loss? So both teams are going to be scratching, clawing. I mean, like you said, let's see a shootout, but it's going to be a.
They're showing the highlight of Matt Olson hitting that one over the wall. All right.
Bang, bang. Adios.
Bananas, baby. We're down 1-0. And then Riley comes in and hits a home run. I was like, okay. I could tell that missile was, I thought it was getting over the wall. Wasn't 100% sure. But the one by freaking Olsen was an absolute just monster blast.
Mm.
And then we hit 3 solo shots off of the unhittable DeGrom.
Well, they're talking about Kenley Jansen in the chat right now. They were getting a little nervous from him. What was your standpoint?
Oh, just throw up, man. He was absolutely just brutal. Kenley Jansen. God bless. The one thing I'll say that I'm happy about is that when he got in this jam and the bases were loaded, he didn't do what got him in trouble earlier in the year, which was he tried to outsmart himself. He stayed with his cutter. He just moved it a little bit around the plate, but he stayed with his cutter. That's his best pitch. What got Jansen into big trouble earlier in the year was he would get the bases loaded and he's trying to outsmart. He's trying to get a double play, and he would hang a slider, right? I thought for sure that damn Alvarez kid, the rookie from the Mets that came up last night, the #1 prospect in baseball. I was like, are you kidding me? He comes in to the game, or he'd already been 0 for 3, but he comes up, and the one guy I didn't want to see in the 9th inning comes up with the bases juiced, and they're down by 3. So he's going to hit a go-ahead grand slam. I just know it. It's just going to happen. They get out of that and then get the next out. And that at bat went on 8-9 pitches. So I was just like, oh my God.
Here we go.
but trying to keep it together the whole time. And the wind up in the pitch, and the whole time we're going,
keep that garbage can close.
Stupid Max Fried went out in the 5th inning because he got some kind of sickness. I don't know if it was I think they food poisoned him. I think he got some New York pizza sent to his door yesterday, and he said, "Sure, what the hell? I'll have some."
New York pizza gate.
But anyways, back to the game. Sorry, I got sidetracked. Really excited about this NL. It's the only race left in baseball. Is this who's going to win the East? Right. Everything else is just positioning in the AL wildcard. Chiefs Bucks. I'm taking the over, and the Bucks by the smallest of margins. Something nasty, something like 30-28. Something where the Chiefs are trying to go for 2 to tie the game. They don't get it. Maybe even 30-29 where they're trying to go for the W and they don't get it. That's where I'm going. I'm going with the Bucks. Tones, we know you're going to take the Bucks. What's your score?
Man, and this week I do firmly believe that Brady picks it up in terms of production. He's done a good job not turning the ball over, but his production has been down. 3 touchdowns, 1 interceptions. I'm going with a heartfelt victory for the Bucks. They weren't even sure they'd be able to play this game at home earlier this week with what's all been going on with Hurricane Ian. Prayers out to all of Florida and Carolina, South Carolina, that is affected by that. By the way, terrible stuff going on there. But I got the Bucks in this one, in a close one. The spread is even. I'm going with higher scoring game, kind of like you did. I'm going with 34 Tampa, 30 Kansas City. I'm going with a 4-point Bucks win. I think it's a shootout, entertaining game. I think Bucks defense comes up with a big turnover off of Mahomes, much like the Colts did last week when they tipped that ball and picked it off at the end. When Mahomes is trying to move, I think Mahomes is trying to move late again in this one. Shaq Barrett gets after him a little bit, and in comes Mike Edwards for the game-winning interception. Bucks win in dramatic, exciting fashion with heavy hearts, 34-30 in Tampa.
By the way, I got a comment off of Brian because he was snoozing about baseball because, you know, we all know. Brian, it's okay, buddy. Baseball's kind of a smart person sport. Like, you know, stick in your wheelhouse, you know, just like every other grandmother in America, just be a football fan, right? But I love the comeback on Sean because he says maybe if Florida had a team that drew more fans than WNBA in Vegas, you care about baseball. And I feel like you got to talk about the freaking Hurricanes when you say that, because did you see the crowd last week at MT when they're playing MTSU? Oh. Okay, and Sean mentioned it, and I was like, man, no one ever listens to me on this. Nobody goes to Hurricane football games unless they're playing a real team like Florida State, right? If they play Florida State, they'll get fans. If they play the Gators, they'll get fans. If Notre Dame were to come down there, they'll get fans. But you know who's going to the games? The fans of the other team. Miami Hurricanes are loaded with Walmart fans. Dudes just grab a T-shirt out of Walmart, man. Okay, let's go. Let's go.
They get what they deserve.
Need 3 players on their team. They want to sit there and tell you about how about we talk about how crazy it's been since how long it's been since the Seattle Mariners made the playoffs. That's how long it's been since the Hurricanes have been relevant in football. But every offseason we have to hear, it's their year, man. It's the you. We coming back, dog. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Where's your gold chain? Where's that plastic chain?
Garbage. Garbage fan base, garbage team. I don't even care if you win a game here and there. Nobody follows them. Get a new team, Brian.
Mic drop.
Stop it. Stop it. I respect the Bengals. Stop it with the Hurricanes. Nobody cares.
Oh, my Lord. This is awesome.
Bang, bang, boom, roasted.
And until you get some respect back, we're gonna forever name them. They're not the Hurricanes anymore. Let's be honest. They're the tropical depressions. Because I feel like that's a perfect name for you, because you need something tropical in your hand, because you're going to be a lot of depressed the rest of the way. All right, let's go.
Oh, I love it. That is too rich. You just got to walk off on that one. You just boom, nail roasted Undertaker into the ground.
Oh, poor Brian.
He's changing diapers anyway, so I don't know how much.
Dude, you talking about something that could put you to sleep. Someone's in the chat talking about how someone has a YouTube channel talking about the Giants and the Commanders.
Yeah, I was with him when this guy was talking Braves, but now he's on this.
Hey, before you're done, before you even go any further, Giants Commanders, take the under. I don't care what you're talking about. Because they can't get a first down. The Giants and the Commanders.
Washington 2 points and 9 sacks.
Dude, that would be like having a podcast about the Miami Hurricanes. What's something as boring as that?
Florida International, maybe.
LPGA. We're going to talk the LPGA and Miami Hurricane football team. All right, let's go.
Brian says, are we getting together for the Miami FSU game?
What's the point, dude? It's in Miami. We can probably go. It's in Miami this year. We can probably sit on the 50-yard line. We can sit on the 50-yard line and spread out. If there's any fans in that stadium, they're going to be wearing garnet and gold. Your plastic pretend chain things that y'all wear, I'm going to clink them together.
What do you think? What do you think
Why would
about
I get with a Hurricane fan to watch a Florida State Miami game? You disgust me.
What do you think about Florida State this weekend? I know you said you're a little nervous with the point spread, but do you think they can come out on top to keep that undefeated season?
I think Wake Forest is a really good team, and it might come down to who has the ball last, to be honest with you. Wake Forest is a good team. All joking aside, it's a good team. I'm looking forward to the game, but I don't have any reservations thinking that we're going to win. It's going to be some easy. This Florida State's not back by any means, man. We're still building. We're still trying to get some recruits in. This is just a good springboard going forward.
Right.
Florida State's not back. I heard a podcast the other day where they were talking about how if they win this game, you can start talking about college football playoffs. No, you can't. They still got to play NC State. They still got to play Wake Forest. They got to go to Miami, even though Miami is not a good football team. It's still a rivalry and it's on the road. They got to play the Gators. I think the Gators will be much better by the end of the season. Florida State's got 4 or 5 good games, and they would have to run the table to get that. You're not going undefeated. It's just not going to happen. But I think it's going to be a good game. It's going to be
I'm
a
looking
fun
forward
game.
to watching it.
And it should look, you get to see 2 of the best quarterbacks, college football quarterbacks in the country.
Yep.
Hart and Travis. Travis is not going to be anything on the next level. I don't want to try to tell people that, but he's one of the best college football quarterbacks he's just fun to watch.
Oh yeah.
And that receiving core, I talked about it with Doug, that receiving core, keep an eye on that receiving core for Florida State. If you want to have some fun, Florida State's receiving core is slowly becoming one of the better ones in the country.
Yeah, without Notre Dame playing today, I'm really looking forward. There's a few good games in that time slot, along with a good Big 12 game, I'm pretty sure, but I'm looking forward to watching it.
If you want one game, one player to pay attention to in that game, Joey, Florida State, number 14, Johnny Wilson.
All right, you got
wide receiver, 6'7", and he has been an absolute monster. Micah Pittman. That name sound a little familiar?
It does indeed.
Micah Pittman, Michael Pittman.
He is related to Michael somehow. I can't remember if they're brothers.
They're brothers.
Yep.
Okay. For some reason, I keep thinking that they were cousins. I think that's just a mean thing to do. Your kid names your kid Michael, and then you go, your brother names his kid Michael, and you go, I'm gonna name mine Micah just to piss you off. But but yeah, that's his brother, and he's a good receiver too. He's more of a guy that you'll go to try to move the chains, and you'll see him on special teams. But he's and Florida State's got a hell of a damn running game. They haven't had to use it, but they got a 3-headed backfield that's fun to watch. But I do think Wake Forest is going to give them fits, man. This is a fun game, and Wake Forest always moves the ball because it's a pain in the ass to get ready for Wake Forest because their offense is like nobody's in the country.
Yep.
It's that read reaction. It's just welcoming onto the show is Mr. Bobby. Bobby, how are you?
I'm doing great. Big win last week for my Raiders. I'm happy with that. Obviously, it
What
didn't
happened
go as planned last night. Didn't go as planned.
That's
I
okay,
had a good
buddy.
time at the
You
game.
wear that with pride, and you get because Brian's watching, and to hell with the Hurricanes.
And Brian took the first shot at Bobby. He said, "Is Macaulay Culkin back or what?" So Brian's
Put
called.
respect on those MTSU names.
How about it? Yeah, MTSU exceeded all expectations this season just by that win alone, so I'm happy.
Oh man, that made my year.
Absolutely.
I mean, of all teams for MTSU, for people who don't know this, I used to be employed by MTSU, so I mean, I was like, holy crap, holy crap, that crappy ass school that I worked for that I never thought could beat anybody just went in there and beat Miami Hurricanes in front of tens and tens of people.
Yeah, not a lot.
There's at least 64 people in that stands, and they will all remember it.
And about half of them were family members of the players, probably.
Yeah, I'd say 62 of them was the MTSU thing, but
bang bang.
Are the Hurry Patties playing anyone this week? Are they off? I haven't even seen.
Not sure.
They're like no longer well. I mean, they haven't been relevant. People just keep trying to tell you they're relevant. They are off. So good news. You have no way to embarrass your program this
Can't lose, yeah.
All right, Joey. Let's get your stupid underdog pick, sir. Where are you going this week? No, wait. Where I got your stupid underdog pick? What is your lock?
Yeah, man, I'm going NFL for the first time this season with a lock, and I'm between a couple of games, but that's it. I'm going to take, even though Bobby took the Chiefs last week, which ended up not doing so well for him, that was heartbreaking to hear. I'm going to go with his Cardinals this week. They go on the road to Carolina, getting a point. I know Carolina came off a win last week, but that was against a not so famous Jameis Winston down there. I don't think they come up with back-to-back strong performances as Matt Rule leads a joke of a team right now. I think the Cardinals go in there, take care of business, and what should be pretty good weather. It looks like it'll be about 75 degrees, so they'll be used to that. Kyler Murray is going to have his first really big game of the season, and I think the Cardinals explode on the Panthers. I'll take 1 point in Arizona this week is my lock.
You're taking Arizona, 4:00. Man, I swear I feel like they're just trying to trick me because I really like the Cardinals in that game, but I'm like, why are they only a 1-point favorite in front of that terrible? Did y'all see the barb going back and forth between Baker Mayfield and DJ Moore through the reporters? Did y'all see that this week?
Yep.
Things are breaking down already. You see
trouble in paradise.
Receivers not getting open. He says he's open. Matt Rule, get your club together, my man.
I will say that Moore did a really good job of taking the high road.
He did.
Absolutely.
But they were trying to bait him.
I see a common denominator with these two issues.
Yeah, I just hate reporters that try to take the easy, slimy way out instead of doing your job. He's trying to bait him into saying something. I was like, come on with a better damn. You're just trying to get some clickbait going, but whatever.
Correct.
All right, brother. Well, we will see you next week. Notre Dame off today too, right?
Notre Dame's off today. Nice win last week for them, so they get a nice deserved week off. And I'll be in Indy tomorrow. Yeah, I'll be in Indy tomorrow. I know go Titans for you, but go Colts for me.
Have fun at the game, man. Be safe.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk some more football with Bobby and Tones, and we got Sean and Steven on the way. We'll be back in a flash.
You're listening to CBS Sports Radio. We are all sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Strong opinions and your phone calls. Expected here, CBS Sports Radio.
Hey, football fans. The Armchair Quarterback Show is back Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. A 3-hour wake-up show that'll cover it all. College football, the NFL, fantasy football, and Major League Baseball. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks1 YouTube channel.
The Glory Hole Theme Park.
Glory Hole, strangers become friends. Glory Hole.
We all like like speaking rodents to entertain and educate our kids. And now with Jerry Gerbil, the kids have someone they can really relate to.
Go on, kids, have fun. I know it's safe.
Glory Hole Theme Park. Open every day till 3 a.m. Come live the mystery.
TGIF on the Armchair Quarterbacks. Justin Waller and Mac McGee are back at it every Friday evening right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel and your local CBS Sports affiliates. We're talking the NFL, Major League Baseball, and Southern football, so grab you a cold one. It's finally Friday on the Armchair Quarterbacks. Waller and McGee getting you ready for your sports weekend. Hey, Braves fans, the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel are bringing you Braves baseball all season long. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and I'll be bringing you Braves baseball play-by-play for the Braves fans out there, for all of Braves country. So pull up an armchair and join us for Braves country baseball, first pitch to last pitch, Tuesday and Friday nights, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel.
Cassandra! We have to talk.
I don't want to talk to you.
Cassandra, I set up an audition for you and your band. I'm putting my show back on the air. You've got to be on it. Wayne, go home. No, I'm not going anywhere. Cassandra, I love you. You may not believe it, but I love you. Am I supposed to just turn my back and leave? Am I supposed to be a man? Am I supposed to say, it's okay, I don't mind? I don't mind. Well, I mind. I mind big time. But you know what the worst part of all is? I never learned to read.
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
He's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer and he's full of snacks. The all-American man. With a groove in his head. Yeah, the armchair quarterback.
Welcome back. As we are going into week number 4 in the NFL. Before we do that, let's talk a little college football. And the Gators take one on the chin last week. Man, y'all almost pulled that one out.
It felt like it was going to be another miracle win in that series. I was like, oh, here we go again. And I know Tennessee fans, they were on the edge of their seats.
Ah, dude. I'm watching
that. That would have been a fun win.
I was like, man, don't lose it this way, Tennessee. Not again. You can't lose it. You've definitely the better team on the field the entire game. And some more questionable calls by old Billy Ball, Billy Napier, man. He goes for it on 4th down like it's a bodily function. What was that goofy ass play where was it 4th and short or 3rd and short where he was, I think it was 4th and short, where they had the entire offensive line just stop and he tried to roll out and then he got and then Richardson gets smoked because nobody got fooled by it.
Yeah, I don't think that was on a 4th down, but it was still a very questionable.
It was another 4th down where it was 3rd and they needed.
It was a crucial down, but it was puzzling.
Goofy. Yeah, it was goofy as hell. You're not Louisiana anymore, baby boy. That's all I can tell you. Like those plays are not going to work. And then he continues to go for it on 4th down. He gets some of them, but I think what you're doing when you constantly do that is you are telling your defense, I don't believe in you.
Yeah, I can understand that. What bothered me more than the 4th down attempts was the 2-point conversions that he was going for at the end of the game. I mean, that first 2-point conversion we attempted, that wouldn't have made it a 2-possession game. So I couldn't figure out the logic behind it. Either way, it was still going to be, I think, 3 possessions. So we wouldn't have cut it down to like 11 or anything. It was still, that puzzled me. I couldn't quite figure that one out. And we didn't get it, of course. So.
Yeah, I'm not, I feel like that Florida is still going to end up around the 7-win mark this year. They're going to be okay. Richardson still isn't the quarterback that everyone thought he was last year. He's a good runner though. And they need to exploit that more. But
I was very happy with how he played yesterday or on Saturday. Sorry.
Yeah, but I still don't think he's at the point where, like last year, everyone was telling. I honestly think that's one of the reasons why. Well, what the hell is his name? Got fired is because Mullen. Yeah, the fan base thought that they had like the next Joe Montana behind center because he had a couple of good plays here and there, and he has shown why he wasn't the starter at that point. He's grown. He's getting better.
Mm-hmm.
Remember something about that Tennessee defense. It's bad. It's going to get exploited. Tennessee is going to go to LSU. That's going to be a tough game. But even if they get past LSU, they're going to get torched by
Alabama.
Dude, Georgia is going to just mash that team because Georgia is going to be able to slow down Hooker. But Tennessee's not going to be able to slow them down.
Well, I think they got Bama before that, too. I think they got Bama the week after LSU, if I'm not mistaken.
It's one or the other, but yeah, they play Alabama. Their next 3 games is LSU, Alabama, Georgia, or LSU, Georgia, Alabama. Either way, it doesn't really matter.
No.
They've got a puncher's chance to beat Alabama because that game's in Knoxville.
Mm-hmm.
But Georgia,
what they can't do, they can't look ahead to the Bama game. They got to focus on LSU first. That's not an easy win.
They will.
So that could be a trap game.
If I'm a Tennessee fan, I'm pulling for LSU big time tonight. Because if LSU drops that game to Auburn, they're going to be fired up. And you want that game as big as possible too.
Mm-hmm.
Because if LSU loses, they're going to be fired up, and I could definitely see them overlooking out to look to Alabama.
Yeah.
Because that would make sense because that would be the 3rd Saturday in October.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at some college football lines. Couple of the games that I have circled here that we have not gotten into yet. Clemson, NC State. That should be a fun one tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think NC State's got a chance to win. I still feel like Clemson's going to find a way because it's in Clemson. If that game was at North Carolina State, I'd give them a much better chance. I think a lot of folks have been unimpressed by NC State because their offense and their defense have seemed a little close to the vest. But I think this has been by plan. The only game they were worried about losing prior to tonight was the Texas Tech game. East Carolina, they found a way to win. That was first game of the season. Anyway, I always give those games a wash. Charleston Southern and UConn last week. So a lot of folks are looking at, well, Clemson's won't beat Wake Forest, I wouldn't fall asleep on this game. I think NC State's got a chance to at least cover the spread, and they could shock a lot of folks and go in and beat Clemson. Ugalele, even though he has looked much better, he hasn't done it against anybody. Georgia Tech, Furman, Louisiana Tech, and Wake Forest, as good as Wake Forest is, they're not known as a defensive juggernaut. So I think they're going to get a much bigger test tonight. I would take NC State in the points, and I feel like that over is really low at 45.5. What say y'all?
I'm with you. I could see this one coming down to the wire and be fairly high scoring. I think the over will hit.
I think the over hits as well. The 7 points is a lot. I think NC State loses right around that 6 to 7 mark. So I don't really like the spread in this one. I do like the over, though. If I had to pick a spread, I would take the 7 points in NC State. I don't love it, but I do like it. I do like the over a lot in that one as well. I'm with you boys there. Sorry, I'm a little bit startled right now. I'm seeing this video of Antonio Brown coming out, pretty much assaulting a girl in the pool in Dubai at a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
He's
really
shoving his butt. It's on video. He's shoving his bare butt in her face, playing with himself in the pool.
Are you seeing it on Twitter?
Yeah, the New York Post tweeted it. I retweeted it from my Tampa Tones account for those of you watching out there wanting to see. Look up Tampa Tones on Twitter.
You could just tag me in real quick, and I'll see if I can pull it up.
Yeah, I'll tag you in real quick. It's a really
Certainly
disturbing.
don't pull anything up on here.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
pull it up on here. It's very disturbing. I'm gonna tag you fellas right now, whoever's watching, and McGee, all you boys, because it's really interesting stuff here. And it's AB doing AB things, but this is even a little more disgusting if you ask me, because the girl clearly wants no part of him. He's wrapping a scarf over her head, it looks like. I just tagged you, McGee, so there
Is
you
the
go.
actual video on there? Because I see the creepy thumbnail.
I have a tweet. I'll tag you in the tweet with the 25-second video as well. There's
Ripping it
another one.
out. Okay, so that's what he's.
It's just, I guess he thought he was at a nude hotel. His excuse was, or something. It's like that guy comes up with so much excuses nowadays.
Yeah, this one, that's pretty cut and dry what's happening. I don't think there's much getting out of this one.
I tagged you in a video. It's a 25-second video as well, McGee. It's pretty clear. He like spikes her like a football at one point in the video, even underwater. It's like, what are you doing, man? She swims away and scared. She's scared and swims away. I mean, Antonio Brown, what are you doing? Even if it is CTE, get yourself some help, man.
Oh, good Lord. Okay, I see it now.
Yeah, it's buffoonery. Right? It's like, it's hard to watch knowing that it's just disturbing.
He's trying to force his genitalia to her face. Is that what I just saw?
Pretty much. And then she swims away. You could tell she looks scared.
Well, hopefully she'll make millions of dollars off this and make him flat ass broke.
What an idiot.
Yeah,
I don't know if we want that though.
Glad y'all warned me not to actually share it, because that would have been bad.
We don't want him being broke though, because he'll start making more music. We don't need that. So.
It'll be the palace to the pit.
I want to see him homeless under a bridge. I don't care. I think he's crap. I think he got away with some really dirty stuff. That stuff that he got accused of, personal trainer, and they decided to settle out. Well, just because he paid her off doesn't mean that he didn't do it.
Well, looking at that video, it's pretty clear that he's got something wrong and he doesn't seem to have a bounder.
And I had to stop. You know, when he was on the Bucks, it's like, we'll give this guy a chance. And then
where was that supposedly at? You said Dubai?
Dubai, yes, sir. It was. I guess he was there to watch a Floyd Mayweather exhibition boxing match.
with the concentration on the word exhibition.
Yeah, it's like, geez.
What a real piece of work, man.
I know, and it's just, you could.
And who was filming it?
He looks happy as hell in the video too, like he's doing a good deed or something. It's like, bro, what are you doing? And that lady, you could tell she clearly doesn't know who the heck he is, or at least like on a personal basis.
I mean, she may be aware, because I'm sure someone might have said, but regardless, she is not nude.
Nope.
It doesn't appear that anybody else is nude. But he is nude, shoving his butt in her face, and it looked like at some point he was trying to force her head towards his genitalia, is the cleanest way I can say it. So
very disturbing stuff there.
Piece of garbage.
Sorry for sharing that, fellas, but I seen that and I was like, holy crap.
No, I mean, I wouldn't have seen it till much later if you didn't bring it up, because I keep my head in the world of sports. I don't, Antonio Brown's no longer really a sports guy. I mean, he's just he's a predator that's on the loose.
Yeah.
Surprised someone didn't. Well, never mind. I'm just thinking, if I'm in that position, whether I'm with the young lady or not, and I'm in the room, Antonio Brown's gonna have problems.
Well, from what I saw in the video, one of the worst parts was that there was a bunch of people laughing for a while.
Egging him on, it seemed like they were like, yeah, AB, yeah.
Well, it's probably his friends or his entourage, whatever you want to call it.
Yes, man. Yeah.
They don't care if they're egging him on, because they're looking at it as, watch this guy crash and burn. So it's not a true friend that actually cared about his well-being would have stepped in immediately and stopped that, and would have done whatever they could to get the damn video away from the person.
Mm-hmm.
at the phone. I guarantee you, whoever took the video is supposed to be his friend, right?
Correct.
You get into that world, they don't give a damn about you. They give a damn of what they could possibly get out of it.
He continues to walk a thin line, my friend. It keeps getting more thin as every step he takes as well. Just terrible situation he put himself in. I don't even think the indoor football league would want him playing for them at this point.
Bobby, Kentucky Ole Miss. We were talking about this earlier. Kentucky's getting 6.5 in the Grove.
Well, I don't want to clue in too much. I might have that as a future segment in the show. But I do like Kentucky in this game. I think that they're giving a lot of points to Ole Miss in this one. Kentucky is a good team. Levis is a good quarterback. It's on the road, so that could cause some problems. But I think 6.5 is pretty generous for Ole Miss, so I think Kentucky covers.
I'll tell you what I don't think is big enough spread. Georgia 30 points at Missouri.
Actually, oddly enough, I forget who they played. I think it was like Kent State last week, if I'm not mistaken. That game wasn't as much of a blow as you would have expected.
No,
but Kent State, and I watched a little bit of that game, and they had their backups in the second quarter.
Yeah.
So
I guess they just didn't care enough to run up the score.
Missouri's bad, man. Missouri's really bad football, and the fact that they almost pulled off the upset win at Auburn just tells you how not impressive Auburn has been. They got blown out at Kansas State. Not lost. They got blown out. Missouri's bad. Abilene Christian's their best win this year.
And that ain't a basketball win. That's a football win.
I don't even know what sport that is. I didn't know Abilene Christian needs to sign a 5-year deal with Southern Utah. I was like, earlier today, I was like, I knew Southern Utah was a college. If you said I went to Southern Utah, I'd be like, oh, okay, tech school, right? So after you got your JUCO, where'd you transfer from Southern Utah? Like, that would be my first question.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen Southern Utah on the bottom line scrolling.
The only reason why they're even a tad bit relevant is Jordan Love, right? If it wasn't for Jordan Love,
that was Utah State.
Yeah,
Utah State.
That wasn't Southern Utah.
Oh, sorry. I'm typing right now. I thought you said Utah State. Ignore my ignorance. I'm sorry. Proceed. I'm half-assing it right now.
I'm gonna look it up.
That's my first time hearing.
Now that you're is a really quick question. So they started playing. They're in the Big Sky Conference. I bet you that's new. They started playing in 1963. This is how big of a football program it is. Their home stadium has a capacity of 8,500. There are high school teams that have bigger facilities.
Yeah, that's not much.
And they have been playing in their stadium since 1967. So this wasn't a makeshift. This is a team that has had a football program and have realized they needed to expand to 8,500 somewhere between now and back in 1967.
That's rough.
And they entered the Big Sky in 2012. That surprised me because I've never seen their score. Before that, Great West, Independent, American West, Western Football, Rocky Mountain. I actually remember the Rocky Mountain Conference. It wasn't Division I and Independent. So, yeah, big time school.
Do you know their mascot? Do they have one?
Thunderbirds.
Thunderbirds. That's pretty interesting.
What's the word Thunderbird? What's the price? Twice as nice. Now, I'm referring to the alcoholic beverage. Thunderbirds actually isn't a bad. Their logo looks stupid. I mean, it looks like a cheap version of the Philadelphia Eagles. It looks like you asked me to draw a doodle of the Philadelphia Eagles in like 40 seconds. That's what their logo looks like, but
like the Mud Hens or something.
Anyways, Tones, what is your lock and your walk-off for the day?
I love Arizona this week, man. I don't like to double down often, so I'm not going to do it. Arizona was going to be my lock of the day at that circus of a Carolina Panthers, as they are just giving 1 point. I think that one is set up for success pretty well over there. But I guess I'll pivot elsewhere because we're not getting that. I'm going to go with, in the world of NFL, we will stay. I'll take my talents over across the seas to London, right? We got an early game tomorrow. We got the Red Rocket taking action, most likely against the Vikings. Minnesota went from +2 at the beginning of the week before injury news came out. Now they're -3. I'm still taking the Vikings in this one. My lock is going to be Minnesota. I think they're playing decent football. They could play a little better, but the 2 times they won this year were both by more than 3 against better teams than how the Saints are playing right now. I think the Saints are banged up to a point where they're going to have trouble winning this football game, and it's in London, so that improves the Vikings' chances because it's a road game for them. Technically, if this was in New Orleans, it'd be a lot harder of a task. So neutral battlefield, Minnesota -3, Andy Dalton at quarterback, game on. Give me Minnesota just giving a field goal in this one. I got them winning by at least a touchdown.
Wow. What's your walk-off for the day?
My walk-off for the day is, ladies and gentlemen, no matter how much cervezas go down your throat tonight, don't act like Antonio Brown out there. You
not talking about Antonio Brown things going down people's throat, okay?
Yeah, no, for real, though. My walk-off of the day is, we only got until Wednesday for the regular season of baseball, and then comes the postseason starting Friday. So starting next weekend, ladies and gentlemen, we got the best time of the year in sports. You got postseason baseball, you got NFL and college football kind of getting into the thick of things. So if your baseball team's still alive, take the time to watch them, appreciate them. If you're a Braves fan, join in on Mac's great announcing and calls of the game. Really dig into baseball, dig into October baseball. It's a beautiful thing. For those of you out there who are a little bit younger, who might be watching and are rubbed the wrong way by baseball a little bit, trust me, there's nothing like the pen and chase, the October baseball, the feeling you get while you're watching it. So grab a cold one, get some baseball on your good side. It's good for you, especially when it's in October. Ooh, nothing like a Game 7, baby. Let's go.
So we got Antonio Brown, things going down people's throats and rubbing the wrong way. All right, brother, we'll see you next week.
Hey, you said it, not me, brother. I'll see you fellas on the other side.
See you, fellas.
Hey, Braves fans, the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel are bringing you Braves baseball all season long. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and I'll be bringing you Braves baseball play-by-play for the Braves fans out there, for all of Braves country. So pull up an armchair and join us for Braves country baseball, first pitch to last pitch, Tuesday and Friday nights, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel. TGIF on the Armchair Quarterbacks. Justin Waller and Mac McGee are back at it 6 p.m. Eastern to 7 p.m. Eastern every Friday evening right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel and your local CBS Sports affiliates. We're talking the NFL, Major League Baseball, and Southern football, so grab you a cold one. It's finally Friday on the Armchair Quarterbacks, 6 p.m. Eastern to 7 p.m. Eastern. Waller and McGee getting you ready for your sports weekend. Saturday mornings, the Armchair Quarterbacks, a Southern tradition like no other. We dive into the Southeastern Conference and the Southern teams in the National Football League. We talk to betting lines, fantasy football. So join us Saturday mornings and get your football weekend started right with the Armchair Quarterbacks, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, right here on Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
You know, we've drafted kids right out of high school. We had this one kid. You would not believe the scouting reports. Grades up and down. Can't miss.
Once again, the Indians appear to be the team to beat.
Emotionally, though, he just wasn't prepared.
Jimmy Key is attempting to come back.
Jimmy Key, what's he like, 45? I could hit him.
I mean, it's a different game in here.
Jack, you watch the game? I mean, didn't it suck? It sucked. It is with much regret that I announced that I am leaving SportsCenter.
Bottom line, he just came out too soon.
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
He's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer and he's full of snacks. The all-American man with a cool one in his head. Yeah, the armchair quarterback. He's kind of fun.
Welcome back. Armchair Quarterback Show. Stephen Trosh, how are you, sir?
Well, I had to witness Miami get thrashed by Middle Tennessee State last week and Tua get nearly decapitated on live TV. I'm still here, but it's rough.
Is that why your appearance now looks like a Unabomber because you're just going into hiding at this point?
Hey, it's been like this. I was
You look
prepping
like
for it all along.
You look like a Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher in a Harry Potter movie. What is the matter with you?
That is
Cut
much
that
better
stuff.
than Unabomber. I'll take that.
You definitely look like that you would have some strong words to say about the government after one beer. If you were listening, federal government, we are not with this guy. Okay.
I need to know how Christy feels about this. She must be on board, otherwise she wouldn't be doing it. But
Yeah, she just gave up. I mean, she's fine with the hair. It's the beard that she wants reined in.
Beard is weird, man. Do they still run that commercial? You remember that? Your beard is weird. You remember that? It was like
Yeah.
thing. I know one thing. I'm glad I'm not listening to SEC Network right now because Paul Feinbaum was on that damn. I can't stand it.
Oh Lord.
God. Bless America. Okay. Welcome.
Still hasn't eaten his crow from saying Harbaugh would never beat Ohio State after last year, but we won't talk about that. He just moved right past
Really?
that.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. He went on First Take and was like, never, ever, ever.
Tim Tebow is in something that I can only describe as some kind of pimp lingerie that he's wearing. It's like a purple suit and his shirt's unbuttoned down to here. I think him and Antonio Brown been hanging out. Anyways, first things on the docket. Let's go ahead and let's see. Today we're going with let's get the stupid underdog picks out of the way so I can keep that somewhat organized. We talked about this at the beginning of the show. Doug is running away with this damn thing. He's got 28.5 points.
Good Lord.
Smoking everyone at this point. Bobby has a puncher's chance. The rest of us are going, hey, don't forget about us back here. So we'll have Bobby go last. Who is leading between Sean? You are slightly behind Trosh. What is your stupid underdog pick today?
Okay, so I'm going to go a little bit off the board. I don't know if anybody's taking this.
You want to know the
lay that
picks
out.
already? I'll go and hit those real quick. Doug took Arkansas plus 17.5. So Alabama is going down today because Doug just literally just points at a map and does this and somehow gets the damn thing. He said, I'll take that team that Alabama's playing this week. And he does this and somehow he wins. For people who don't watch the beginning of the show, Doug's more of an NFL fantasy football guy, likes baseball. College football, it's a passing interest, and he's crushing us. Tony took Troy plus 5.5. Joey took Boston College plus 13.5, and I took Oregon State plus 10.5.
Okay, those are all pretty good. I am going to take one that was not mentioned, so that's helpful to everybody. I am going to take the Red Raiders of Texas Tech going into Manhattan against K-State, who's a 7.5-point favorite at the moment. Both of these are both good teams, but I think everybody's a little high on the supply of Kansas State beating an Oklahoma team that I don't particularly think is very good last week. And Kansas State always gives Oklahoma trouble. I don't know why. It doesn't matter where they play. I saw it firsthand last night in Murfreesboro, the week after a big win, a little letdown week. He come out a little flat. And I think Texas Tech is good. And I like what they're doing in Lubbock. So give me Texas Tech plus 7.5.
Okay. Next pick will go to Trosh. Steven, where are you going today, sir?
Yeah, you went a little off the board. I'm going way off the reservation. I'm going Central Michigan plus 7 over Toledo. Toledo has just not been a good team this year. They haven't really been able to get much going on offense. Their offense has been their running game. Central Michigan has a fantastic rush defense. The pass, and so that means they're going to have to open up the pass a little bit. And Toledo quarterback has 6 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. I think Central Michigan will be able to create some turnovers and possibly pull up the upset today.
Okay, so Central Michigan +7. And that leaves us to Bobby. Bobby, what you got?
I mentioned it earlier. Give me Will Levis and the Wildcats. I'm taking Kentucky +6.5 against Ole Miss.
Okay, Kentucky 6.5. I like it. When you're down by 30 points to Doug, you're like, dude, I got to go for something bigger than 6 points. I'm not, I can't play the long game. It'll be the damn NBA playoffs before I catch them. Okay, so there we have it. That's your stupid underdog picks, and we'll finish up our locks later on this hour. Okay, let's get into fantasy football. Give me a second. And since you are the one that won last week, Trosh, pull up your lineup if you can, sir.
All right. So I'm going to, I'm just sticking with what's hot. I went Geno Smith last week. I'm going to stick with him again at 5,400. I'm going to pair him with Tyler Lockett at 5,900, and then run that back on the other side with Jamal Williams. DeAndre Swift's going to be out this week, and Williams has had a huge role in that offense, scoring multiple touchdowns already this season. I love the price, 6,100. My other running back is Austin Eckler at 77 with Keenan Allen out. I really think this is the week he gets his due. My other receivers are Stephon Diggs at 8,400, Greg Dortch at 5,000. Arizona's missing Hollywood Brown and AJ Green this week, so give me a lot of opportunity for Dortch to produce. Tunyon at tight end at 3,500. I just think he has some touchdown equity this weekend. And DJ Moore running it back with Greg Dortch. Like I said before, I think this is going to be a high-scoring game, and DJ Moore is primed for a breakout. And then I'm with the Jets defense at 2,600. For me, that's pretty easy. He gets to play Mitch Trubisky. I don't need to say much else.
Okay, so we are going to go with that. And Sean, I know you weren't here last week, but basically we run out of time if we try to do all of our lineups. So the guy who won last week is going to share his lineup for this week. And then we'll just, we'll still continue to compete, but we're going to do the lineup build. That way we're not feeling so rushed of having to fly through it. So I don't know whose turn is it? Is it Bobby? Is it Sean? I think I went first last week.
I think it might be back to me. I don't think I've gone first yet.
You haven't.
I can go ahead and start.
Somebody hasn't gone first yet.
Actually, neither Bobby or I have gone first yet because Trosh went in week 1 and in week 2.
Oh, he's okay. All right. Well, that's fine. All right. So, Bobby, we'll give you this week, and then just try to remind me that it's Sean next week, because that's one of the that's a few things I don't write down is that.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I'll save money with our stack. I'm going the opposite side of the game that Trosh went. I'm taking Jared Goff for 5,900, and give me DJ Chark as well at only 5,000. Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to be out on Sunday, so I think the target's got to go somewhere, and I think Chark will catch quite a few passes. So that's going to be my stack, and I'll save the rest of you guys some money.
What was his?
Chark was 5,000.
5 even. Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
He's questionable. Is he going to play?
Yeah,
he is going to play. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tim Twentyman, who runs the website, said he was held out as a precaution on Friday for some kind of ankle twist or something.
God bless it. This would be a great week for Jameson Williams to come in, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
They're saying week 6 at the earliest.
So Sean, we'll go to you. Bobby got us some discounts here. So where are you going?
I'm going to go on the opposite end of something Trosh said earlier, and I'm actually going to take our defense. I'm going to grab the Steelers at 3,600. And the reason here is, if you haven't taken a look, the weather all along the East Coast is supposed to be rainy and relatively gross tomorrow. And Zach Wilson's back. And even though I don't trust Mitchell Trubisky, I do think he'll throw a couple to Pittsburgh and maybe fumble a couple as well.
I think Steven and I have a vague idea of why the weather's so bad in the Northeast this weekend.
I'm not sure. What are you talking about, Dave?
That bastard just went by.
What are you talking about?
Man, if you ever want to have a good time and piss off your wife at the same time, stay up drinking until 3:00 in the morning the night of a hurricane. The dog's howling at me outside.
Are you in the pool?
No, but I was close enough to the pool where I was getting wet from the rain, and it was still drizzling. The wind's blowing. There's branches falling, and I'm standing outside smoking and drinking. And my wife's like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Being a Floridian.
I'm like, I like to party. What? and I old buddy of mine from Sean, you know him, Lawson. We were we're on the phone drinking, telling tales till 3 a.m. So you can imagine where that went. And then I get inside and I was like, I need to calm it down a little bit before I go in. So I'm having me a sandwich, watch the TV. Well, our internet was out. It'd been out all night. So I had decided to put a movie in, and my dog was out running around. I grabbed this dog movie. Little did I know that it was going to make her go berserk, and she started barking at everything on the screen. So that was 3 o'clock in the morning. She was a happy camper, let me tell you. So this morning when she's getting up early for work, like she barely made a sound in the other room. And I was already starting to wake up for the show, and I just yelled, "But you keep it down, I'm trying to sleep in here." All right. Sean, you took Steelers. Bobby, where are you going?
No, Bobby let off. It's true.
Yeah, I just went. I started with the stack.
All right, I'll make this easy.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Going to run it back in the other side of that Lions stack. And then since we have a little bit more money to spend, I'm going to take DK Metcalf this time. I think between Metcalf and Lockett, you're going to have one of those receivers in your lineup because one of them is going off this weekend.
Okay, so I am going to go with the receiver. Where is he at? I'm just going to have to. I'm assuming he's going to play. I know he's been questionable. Gabe Davis, is that guy playing this week?
Let's see. I know he's
practiced on Friday. I'm going to go with the fact he's probably going to play. And that defense has been absolute garbage for the Baltimore. Worse than the NFL pass defense.
He is going to play, but he's not anywhere close to 100%.
It doesn't matter. It's not going to take anything for him to get 2 touchdowns in that game. 6,600. I like it. All right. So that goes to, is it Bobby?
I think it's back to me. Yeah.
You're throwing me off because you went first and stacked the Lions. I keep thinking that's Sean.
That makes sense. Well, I'm going with James Robinson here, the 4th best fantasy running back, and he's still affordable at 6,400. And he's going up against the Eagles, who are 24th against running backs in fantasy. I think 6,400 is a bargain for him. If he keeps playing like he has, he'll be worth it for sure.
Okay. Eagles hosting the Jaguars. Who would have thought this, but a pretty big game in the AFC. That goes back to Sean, right?
Yep, comes back to me. I'm gonna leave the fun for the two of you, and I'm gonna grab our tight end, and I'm gonna grab somebody I've been impressed with the last couple of weeks, David Njoku of Cleveland. He's at 3,700 at Atlanta. Atlanta has allowed the 4th most targets, 2 tight ends in the league so far this year, and their defense is just bad. So I like Brissett's options there. And if that game's marginally close, which, Atlanta's been frisky this year, he could definitely be a guy that gets a lot of points in this format.
All right. To you, Trish.
That leaves us with 12,000 total, 66,000 apiece between 2 spots. I'm going to stick with the Lions against my better judgment. Give me Jamal Williams. I love the upside there. He's going to be the top dog, possibly a workhorse in this game. So take all the points.
Oh, wait a minute. I grabbed the wrong Jay Williams. Where's he at?
6,100.
61. Okay, thank you. All right, so that leaves us with 59 for our flex. Let me scroll down here and see what's available. I'm tempted to grab Lockett because that would go back and forth, but then you don't want 2 receivers from the Seattle Seahawks. That could get dangerous. So let me go with he's been so damn good this year. I'm going to take the risk on the fact they're going to be playing from behind. Let me get Curtis Samuel, 5,700, giving us $200 under the board. Anyone want to spend any more money elsewhere, or are we good?
I'm good.
All right.
I'm happy with this.
So that's it. We'll enter that and then never look at it again because it's a free league. And I always go back like weeks ago. I wonder how we did. I have no idea. All right.
For the record, I always put our team build in a $3 game. We've hit a few over the last year and a half. So,
all right,
couple.
We will expect those checks sent to us.
Hey, if I had put $100 on the NTSU game last week, if I had the backbone to do it, we'd be funding this thing until the apocalypse.
Speaking of that, let's take a really quick break. When we come back, Sean, cue up your No Way parlay, and we will be back in a flash. We're going to be talking college football and NFL lines here on the Armchair Quarterback, and a little more fantasy football. We will be back in a flash. Keep it locked in here on Armchair Quarterbacks 1 on YouTube and your CBS Sports affiliate. Saturday mornings in the Armchair Quarterbacks, a Southern tradition like no other. We dive into the Southeastern Conference and the Southern teams in the National Football League. We talk to betting lines, fantasy football. So join us Saturday mornings and get your football weekend started right with the Armchair Quarterbacks, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, right here on Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel. Hump Day on the Armchair Quarterbacks. Every Wednesday, Mac McGee, Justin Waller, we come to you live, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, to talk the world of sports. The Atlanta Braves in Major League Baseball, Tennessee Titans, and the National Football League, the Southeastern Conference, and college football. We'll get you over the hump every Wednesday, kicking you right into your sports weekend. Hump Day, every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central on Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel and your local CBS affiliates. Hey, Braves fans, the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel are bringing you Braves baseball all season long. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and I'll be bringing you Braves baseball play-by-play for the Braves fans out there, for all of Braves country. So pull up an armchair and join us for Braves Country Baseball, first pitch to last pitch, Tuesday and Friday nights, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel.
Hey, listen, do me a favor, will you? I got a hot date tonight with Connie. Knock on my door, wake me up in 20 minutes, all right?
Catnap?
No. This is evolutionary. I've been reading this book on Leonardo da Vinci. See, that means from Vinci. Did you know that?
Must be some book.
Yeah, well, it turns out that the master slept only 20 minutes every 3 hours. Now, that works out to 2.5 extra days that I'm awake per week, every week, which means if I live to be 80, I will have lived the equivalent of 105 years.
Imagine how much more you'll accomplish.
Oh, I got a lot of things in the hopper, buddy.
I didn't know you had a hopper.
Oh, I got a hopper. Big hopper.
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
He's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer and he's full of snacks. The all-American man.
Welcome back, y'all. The Armchair Quarterback Show. We're here Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. to noon. Might be a few in the future that we're going to have to work around because this is my busy season. Insurance, we're getting dragged into duty on Saturdays, but we'll just keep you posted on that. We might figure out a workaround on that. But anyways, I'll know more in the coming week, I believe, of when doomsday begins for me. Anyways, we'll be here most Saturdays. I'm gonna try to be here every Saturday. It really depends on what time I get dragged in. All right, so we'll get into stardom situms here in a little bit, but I want to get Sean's No Way parlay, get that jotted down before we go any further, and then we're going to get into some lines, some stardom situms, and then we'll do our locks at the end. Sean, your No Way parlay. What are you going with?
My No Way parlay this week, again, we're doing all money lines in the NFL. I might switch it up eventually, but I'm having too much fun pissing money away doing it this way. So we're just going to keep doing this. I'm going to start with the Seahawks at plus 165 in Detroit. Again, the vibes with the Lions this week are not great. And I don't think the Seahawks are very good, but I'm very worried about who's going to catch Jared Goff's highly inaccurate passes and watching them bounce off of TJ Hawkinson's concrete fingers for 4 quarters tomorrow. So that concerns me greatly. And that would be all Seahawks winning that game in that scenario. I'm going to add to that the Carolina Panthers. This is basically a dead pick 'em. It's not a plus at this point, so it doesn't add a lot of value to the whole card. But McGee, you and I are 2 of the longest standing purveyors of the West to East rule. And I don't know how many times we have to see this bite people in Vegas over the years, but teams that come West to East don't do well. And I don't love Kyler against that defense. It's a young, fast defense, especially in the linebacking core and on the outside. And I very much worry about him doing his, hey, Kyler, go make stuff happen, all over the field. I don't think that's going to happen as much tomorrow. And the weather might not be great as well. And then I'm going to add to that, get ready. I hope you're sitting down, Tony Agolini. The Jacksonville Jaguars at plus 220 to go into Philadelphia and win. I love this team. I love watching them. I love everything about them. I don't know if they're actually going to do it, but I want to believe that they can. And if they go in there and win this game, man, the Jacksonville is going to be the toast of the city. So you put those together, and that adds up to plus 1485 on BetMGM. So $10 wins you 158. That is why it's called a no-way parlay. Have I ever hit one of these, listeners?
Those 3 added together gives you what? What are the odds?
I might have an odds boost on it, so that might not be correct. But yeah,
what I'm showing is plus 1510.
Okay, I got you. I said plus 1485, so it wasn't that far off. But
yeah, okay, I'm sorry, I misunderstood you. I'm sorry. Okay,
I think the odds boost when you throw it in these apps plays with it and doesn't display it exactly. But $10 wins you 158 if all 3 of those hit. Again, pretty long odds, but that's why we call it the no way parlay. There you go.
Okay, so Seahawks, Jags, and Panthers to win.
Seahawks, Jags, and Panthers to win outright.
Let me tell you about the Panthers game real quick, just briefly. I have the Panthers winning. I know the Cardinals are probably a better team on paper, but in each of the last 5 or 6 matchups, they've beaten us by double digits. They're just one of the teams that seem to have our number. Every team has one of those that they never seem to beat, and the Panthers are that to us. So
I just put $1.84 down to win 27.79. So let's go.
Good stuff.
All right. By the way, I wanted to throw one out at you. Check out this one. Where is it? Was I smart enough to write it down, or did I just do a whole? Oh, college football. I have to see what it is this morning. But this one, these are all money lines. If you want to get your whistle wet a little bit, the first one was Kentucky. They got plus 200. What time is the Texas Tech game?
12.
Yeah, it's early.
Okay. So Texas Tech to win on the money line, and then go all the way down to the 7:00 games. There's at 7:30, and NC State plus 3,000 to win.
Plus 300 you mean.
Together. The good thing about this is, let's say if you just did something small, I forget how much I put on it. So if you
how
put
much did you say NC State was to win?
What's that?
How much did you say NC State was to win?
Plus 215, making the whole thing plus 3,000.
Okay.
If you take those 3 games and you put, we'll say $5 down, you'll win $153. The great thing about this is, if you take this and you get your first 2 legs at the noon slot, you could then go back and bet against yourself.
Yeah.
And be assured to win money on the late slot.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta love hedging.
And if you do have, it depends on your app, but you might be able to actually cash out. So you could do that as well.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people I know will cash out, and then they'll still take that money and go try to put it on a W just in case. But anyways, we'll move on from that. Let me clear this up before I accidentally lay 2 bets on the same stupid bet. Why are you dressed head to toe to NC State junk here at 9:00 at night? Come on, baby, let's go. All right.
Come on, Devin Leary, make it happen.
Have I told you once? I've told you 100 times, don't talk to me during North Carolina State Wolfpack football games. Aren't the Braves on? Shut up! I'm trying to concentrate. Okay, let's go ahead and get into some college football matchups. Was that Trosh that had the Central Michigan game?
Yep.
I was like, why am I in the MAC conference over here? Okay. Let's go ahead and get into some of these games. And I am going to, we'll start in the top 25. I'm going to share the screen so folks can see the lines that we're referring to. And here we go. Well, it moved. Ain't that a son of a gun? All right. Now, I had it set up, but we'll see what
I
happens.
was to say, like, why are you showing us you losing to Doug in fantasy?
Yeah, exactly. See if I can go all the way back here. If it'll take me all the way back, or if no. All right. I don't know where the hell it went. I had it pulled up with the damn lines, but here we go. I'll just have to redo it. Damn it, man, that pissed. Oh, here it is. Not as far over as I thought it was. All right. Start with the college football slate today. You got Florida State, Wake Forest. Talked about this earlier. I would not take Florida State minus 6.5. I think that is going to be a very close ball game. What say y'all?
Yeah, I agree.
It's moved to half a point. It's moved to half a point since then. It's down to 6 on ESPN, but I don't know what's driving that. It's probably just people pounding tickets in the opposite direction. That's an interesting game. Well, I don't want any part of it.
I would say it's money coming in on Wake Forest because I mean that's a high point spread for a team. Wake Forest has dominated that series recently. If Florida State gets the win, I'm not saying they can't cover the spread, but I don't feel good about it, man. I'd be putting that on a teaser, a 6-point teaser, where all I need is a W. Would anybody be taking Florida State minus 6?
Wouldn't.
How about that over under being 67?
I'm gonna tease that over. I that's scary to take straight up though.
What's that?
Like 67 is scary to take straight up, but I'm definitely gonna have it in a couple teasers. Tease up to what 73.
And I mean, honest engine, I think it's going to go higher because I predicted 42-31. So I had 73, but
yeah,
a lot of good things have to happen. It is supposed to be really good weather there, despite what the Wake Forest coach said.
You see a question I've had, and I wondered about this. Do you see any scenario where you can make a lot of value on the under? Because I can see a scenario where Norvell tries to shorten the game by just doing Trayshawn Ward left, middle, right, and Darren.
No, because Florida State's loaded at receiver, and I think that they can outshoot them. I think what Florida State's betting on is they're going to be able to move the ball on Wake Forest, and they'll be able to get a few stops. Florida State comes in, fairly healthy into this game. Now, look, we all know that Hartman's one of the best college football quarterbacks there is, but I think they can put enough pressure on him. And I can see them running the football, but I don't know if it's going to be like I think what you're talking about is like just taking the air out of the ball, right? Yeah.
If Norvell tries to basically keep the ball out of Hartman's hands, how much value is on the under?
They've got 3 receivers right now, Florida State, that lead top categories in college football. And I doubt it. The only way that happens is if they get a quick lead, and then maybe at that point. But I don't think you can sit on the ball with Wake Forest. I think you just have to score and try to stop them a few times.
Yeah, it's a valid point.
Clemson, who has a hell of a defensive front. I know it went overtime, but didn't they give up like 41 points to them or whatever the hell it was?
Yep.
So that's why I like the over, but that is a high over. Moving on from that game, next one that jumps out at you, Clemson, NC State. Clemson's still a 7-point favorite. What y'all's take on that?
I'm not touching it. I just don't feel good about Clemson this year.
I really don't have a good sense of. I mean, I see a lot of places basically saying Clemson's like an 84% consensus to win. I don't know. I just. You said it in the first hour, McGee. You said throw out the first week. I've still got a bad taste in my mouth from that East Carolina game when it comes to Devin Leary. I want to believe North Carolina State can go in there. I got to see it. They've got to do it for me to believe. So I would take Clemson if I had to pick the money line. I don't know that I want to touch that spread because I can see a 48-45 game.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's worth risking on the money line because if Clemson – now maybe that's a game that you could tease, but Clemson on the money line, let me see what it is right now. I haven't looked at that. I've been looking at –
over-under is 45.5. Is that right?
Yes.
I got it. Money line is minus 255.
Thank you.
Who is on the jungle leaf that made that over under?
That is a too high of a. I'll tell you what I did like. I followed someone, and they're pretty good at gambling and whatnot. And I was listening to a show, and he was saying, "Don't be scared to grab 3 or 4 games on the money line, not in a parlay, but straight up, and put the same amount of money on each one of them, and see how you do, especially in college football." So meaning you just, let's say $15, $20 or whatever on each game, and you just picked for them to win on the money line, right? If you just hit one of those, you're probably going to about break even. But if you hit 2 of them, you should make money. So the games that have my eye would be like Kentucky, Texas A&M, NC State, Texas Tech. All those are underdogs, but you take them on the money line, you could make bank, and it eliminates having to count points down and all that kind of stuff.
I hope it's not a chalky week.
What's that?
So if you're doing that, you just got to hope it's not a chalky week and all the favorites win.
Yeah, but college football rarely happens. What you hope is that over the long haul that you're right. Hell, if you're right half the time, you're going to make money. All your professional bettors tell you, do not take the money line if it's over like minus 180 or higher, because you're risking too much money to make very little back. You have to be willing to lose, because when you hit, you're going to see the progression. Another interesting one, and I know everyone's not thrilled with them. They're talking about running the coach out of town, but Auburn's plus 255 at home in a night game against LSU.
That one got my attention big time, because I don't particularly think LSU is very good. And they're sitting here 3-1. I don't even know who they played the last 3 weeks, but it wasn't anybody good if I don't know who it was. So
now they have looked better. Of course, Brian Kelly's just getting there. So, I think it's going to take a while for him to get his feet underneath him. But they have – here, I'll pull it up real quick. LSU – last 3 weeks, New Mexico, they did beat Mississippi State, which I did not remember that. Actually beat them pretty well, 31-16. That's Mississippi State's only loss. And then Southern, what the hell. But this will be the first real test. But Auburn has looked bad as well, even though they're 3-1.
Well, do you think LSU could almost be overlooking this game with Tennessee up next and then the Gators afterwards?
Well, that same argument is Auburn goes to Georgia next week, and then then Arkansas. Listen to their – oh, my God. Listen to this. This is Auburn's schedule. This is why they're looking for a new coach. After they get through this game at Georgia, these are back-to-back-to-back weeks, right? At Georgia, at Ole Miss, a week off, and home against Arkansas, at Mississippi State, and home against A&M, Western Kentucky, and then the game in Tuscaloosa against Alabama.
Western ain't no pushover. Western puts points up. So
no, I know, but I'm saying that, but of all those games, that's the only one they may be favored to win.
Mm-hmm. Mississippi State's still doing the Leach ball, right? Leach is still there, spreading people out with 9 receivers. Okay, just wanted to make sure.
But it's also going to be at Mississippi State, so I need more.
Yeah, it's in Starkville.
Yeah,
in Starkville. That's
right.
Woo,
Yeah. So, man, I can see now why there was a rumor out that Deion Sanders had flown into Auburn. I don't know if that was true or not, but the Deion Sanders had flown into Auburn. They were like, Deion Sanders is coming to Auburn. I'm like, is that what you want? But okay, whatever.
There were rumors this week he was being courted by Georgia Tech. It's like, you think he wants to be the coach of the 5th most popular team in Atlanta?
Yeah,
Heck no.
No way. I could see him going to Auburn, but Georgia Tech, why would you would sit where you're at and wait for a better offer.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He's not stupid. Look, I get it. They draw the connections because he played in Atlanta professionally. Yeah. But dude, Georgia Tech is a disaster.
Disaster.
And it's going to take a real football coach to go in there and turn around, not a hype man. Yep. If Deion comes to an Auburn, he's there for just recruiting, and what he has to tell them, whoever hires him at the next level, is I have to have an unlimited budget to be able to hire my coordinators because they're going to run the show.
Georgia Tech's got to have a guy they need a licensed professional college football coach, maybe someone who's downtrodden, whose brand is a little distressed, like a Hugh Freeze at Liberty or somebody like that, to come in there and have time to rebuild it. That's the only thing they're going to be able to get.
But if Auburn backs the truck up, watch how quick Deion Sanders story of we got to build HBCUs and we got to do it the right way, and he'll be bye, see ya.
Yep.
Well, we were trying to build these historically black colleges. That sounds like a you problem. I'm heading to Auburn.
That'll be a 2,000 word notes app post to Twitter. That's how he'll do that.
Yeah. Very emotional video. Now you're like, man, I pull for Deion because he's Seminole, but I know as much as anybody, he's a hype man.
Yep.
He's Pat McAfee that has a whistle. That's what he is. All right.
He's Pat McAfee if he was also Flavor Flav.
Right. Moving on, some other top 25 matchups. Alabama, Arkansas. Ooh, some Bama fans just got mad. Alabama, Arkansas. Number 2 at number 20. Anyone give Arkansas an actual puncher's chance to win this game? I think this is a trick. I think you're going to go, man, you get 17 points to number 22. 22 in the country, I'm gonna lay some money down, and you're gonna go out and you're gonna get a sandwich, you're gonna sit on the couch, you go, why the hell is it 28-0? We're not even through the first quarter. This reeks of Arkansas at Georgia last year.
I mean, how many times have we seen, basically the new kid on the block, KJ Jefferson? He looks like he's fantastic, could be the next big thing. He's gonna go face Alabama and just get like 90 yards passing.
Amen.
How many times have we seen that?
Amen. The only reason why Arkansas has a fighting chance in this is Doug took them in the stupid underdog.
Yep.
I was going to say, like we should change the rules just for this week. So when Arkansas loses, you take the Doug loses 17 points. Only this week, though. Then we can go back to normal.
But say the only thing I would be willing to put money on in this is for Arkansas to cover. And I don't even feel great about that. I feel better about Arkansas covering than I do about Alabama covering, just because I can see a scenario where Arkansas gets a defensive touchdown early or blocks a punt or, scores on the first possession, whatever. And Bryce Young's been he was good in the Texas game, but he also made a lot of mistakes. They seem to have cleaned it up the last couple of weeks, but road games in the SEC are always interesting. You talk me into a lot of different outcomes, but the only thing I'd put money on is probably Arkansas to cover the 17. I still think Alabama wins by 10-14, but that's a lot of points.
I always preach you against parlays. Tell me one you wouldn't have loved last night. I took the Cubs and the Braves on the money line, and they both hit.
Nice.
I also have a 14 teaser that has one leg left. I took MTSU and UTSA, took the over. Tulane and Houston in the over. Washington plus 10. They won by 8. And so if the Kentucky Wildcats can stay within 19 points today, I will hit that. And I woke up to check that Washington score. I was watching the highlight. I'm like, I saw it was like, they're down by 16. I was like, of course they are. There's always that one game that just craps the bed, but somehow Washington scored a late second touchdown. By the way, that UCLA quarterback, dude, that guy's the real deal.
Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I feel like he's been there since 2007.
Yeah.
He's been there for a while.
You're going to have a hard time coming up with a rhyme, but you need to tank for that guy. We're losing for the Bruin. That's I don't know. He had a hurdle last night. If y'all haven't seen that video, wow, was it impressive?
Yeah.
I mean, he had to walk into the end zone where he basically made two Washington guys look stupid. They tackled each other. he just stopped, and they both ran into each other. I was like,
I saw that.
Yeah,
one.
he's been doing that for a couple of years. I don't know what's going on with UCLA. Chip's got real challenges, with that program and just fan investment, especially with what's happening just up the street at Southern Cal with Lincoln. But
I'm pulling for Chip.
I'm pulling for Chip. UCLA is good for 2 or 3 weeks a year where you're like, they did what? he's
a
always
Florida State fan all these years. I can emotionally get attached to UCLA in the UCLA USC rivalry. Like I can understand where they're coming from. Like you're doing it against all odds, and you're like, screw you anyways, buddy. Let's go. And just like UCLA is dominant in basketball, we're really good at women's soccer. So there you go. Dynasty, baby. Let's go. All right. Other games real quick. Any other college football games have y'all live before we get into our NFL? And because I do want to talk some NFL spreads and then go to our locks.
I'm going to mention Michigan really quick.
Thank you.
Kinnick is a house of horrors for Michigan. It has been my entire life. We've had very, very good teams, much better, much more experienced teams than this one go into that place and lose. The last time was in 2016 when we were 9-0 and lost 14-13. If you were going to do anything on that game, I would take Iowa plus the 10.5. I know Iowa's offense is awful. Their defense is almost outscoring their offense this year through their first 4 games. But JJ's a sophomore, and our starting quarterback's a sophomore. He's very, very talented. There's absolutely a scenario where we go in there and beat their brakes off, but I don't love it because we have never done that in my whole life inside Kinnick Stadium. So I would take Iowa plus the 10.5 if I were you.
Iowa. Is that right? They won a game 7-3.
They sure did. And their offense didn't score that 7, buddy.
Yep.
The defense did.
Oh my God. Who were they?
They got like 2 safeties, right? On a field goal. Was that the one?
Yep. 2 safeties and a field goal. That was the one.
Jeez Louise.
Spencer Petras has been their quarterback for, I feel like, 8 years, and he is god awful. And why Ferentz loves him, I do not know.
Unless that guy's name is Spencer Strider, don't tell me anything about it.
Exactly.
Guy by the name of Spencer throwing. Anyone else got any more college ones before we flip to NFL and go to the locks?
No, Sean stole everything I was going to say about Michigan.
Thank you.
All right. Let me get to there. Can you get to the end? Here we go. NFL. Give me a game each that has y'all's interest. Sean, I'll start with you.
I'm going to go a little bit off the board to a game that I don't think has a lot of attention, but I'm very curious at how it ends up. Broncos Raiders in the 325 window on CBS. I'm not impressed with anything the Broncos are doing. They should absolutely be 0-3. They have failed upwards so far this season. And I'm not a huge believer in the Raiders or Josh McDaniels as a head coach at large, but you can't tell me that offense isn't going to start pumping at some point with the tools that they have. It hasn't really gone off yet. This could be the week where I feel like it could go off. This could be the week where Russell misses a few open guys, things go bad. Nathaniel Hackett forgets what down it is and does something funny, like sends out the punt team on second down, because that dude is in so far over his head. He's practically me as a restaurant manager at the age of 25. I mean, he just has no idea what's happening at this moment. So that's a game I got a lot of eyes on. I would love to take the over in that game because I think the Raiders might score 35 by themselves.
Bobby, what say you?
Well, I briefly mentioned it earlier, but it was in fact six. Six of the last 6 games, the Panthers have beat the Cardinals by double digits. So if history repeats itself, I think we know how this one's going. Cardinals don't look good. Team just looks sluggish.
When was the last time they played, though? Was that like in the peak of
last year? Last year. And actually, the Cardinals, it was in November last year when the Cardinals were actually looking pretty good. They got stomped 34-10. That just kind of tells you how the Panthers have our number.
Well, Call of Duty had just come out. That's why.
Oh, whatever. Whatever.
Was that the week before or after they came to Detroit? Because Detroit smacked the Cardinals around last year in Detroit, and even I didn't see that one.
The Panthers game was a little bit earlier than that, I believe.
Oh, okay. I got you.
But the Detroit's another team that seems to give us fits. So it's weird. But the Panthers have our number. If it goes as planned, or if it goes as it usually does, then have the Panthers win this one. So take that.
Steven, what say you?
I mean, I talked a little bit about the Seahawks-Lions earlier. I think that I don't know who's going to win that game, but that game's just going to be fun to watch. There's going to be some offense because there is no defense in that game, not even in that city tomorrow. But the game that I'm going to be watching and everybody else is going to be watching is that Bills-Ravens game. We got Josh Allen going against Lamar Jackson. I just predict a shootout. Both of those defenses are banged up and just not as good as they have been. And man, like Allen and the Bills have to be just livid after last week in Miami. I think they're going to just unleash all that anger on the Ravens defense.
That Lions Seahawks game, I did want to mention really quick. Does anybody remember where the line started? Because it's now at 3.5. And I feel like it's dropped at least 2 points, if not more.
Yeah, I think I saw it at like 6 earlier in the week.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, so it's down at least 2.5, maybe 3, since it was announced that Amon-Ra and Swift are both going to be out. That's the vibes on that game are just all over the place. I mean, I have.
What do y'all have for the over in the Browns Falcons game?
I've got 47.5 where I'm looking at it.
That's all I'm seeing.
That seems low.
I like the over in that one a lot.
Yeah,
I think that's going to be weird shit.
There's usually a week once a year where either the over or the under gets cranked. And I just wonder if the weather's maybe not as bad as we all think it would be. All those East Coast games, like Bears Giants is 39.5, Jets Steelers is 41.5, Bills Ravens is 51. Those could all go over like very, very easily.
The Falcons game's in a dome. They don't have to worry about weather.
Yeah, don't have to worry about it at all.
Yeah, actually, I like that 47.5 over a lot. I didn't see that earlier.
All right, well, let's go ahead and go into a little bit of fantasy football stuff. I'm just setting this up so when we can hit the ground running on our next segment, for the locks of the day. Fantasy football, real quick, we're going to do some 2-minute action. So let's go into stardom sims. We're just going to go around the horn and basically compiled. We're getting nowadays still between 30 to sometimes 40 stardom sims. So I try to combine them together so we can get them all in our show now. We'll start. Let's see. My screen looks like this. It's Steven, Bobby, and Sean. So that's how I'll go in order. Okay. So Steven, Bobby, Sean, we'll do stardom sit. I'm going to give you a few names and you just give me one, unless I tell you something different. All right. First one up. Pollard, Melvin Gordon.
Pollard.
Travis Etienne or Cam Akers?
Etienne.
CEH or Breece Hall?
CEH, just because we haven't seen it from Hall yet.
Amari Cooper or DK Metcalf?
I like the upside of both in that game. I'm going to go Metcalf ever slightly.
Chris Olave or Devontae Smith?
Ooh. I'm going to go with Smith. I'll play the high hand. He's been good the past couple weeks. Been very good.
Adam Thielen or Elijah Moore?
Thielen, only because I want no part of the Jets with Wilson back under center this week until I see what he looks like. No part of any Jet anywhere.
Brian Hoyer. No, I'm joking. Derek Carr or Aaron Rodgers?
I'm going to go Aaron Rodgers here. I just think he's got the better matchup at home. I mean, Carr's at home too, but just better matchup overall.
Kirk Cousins or Tom Brady? Did you think you'd ever say that?
I'm going with Brady. I think the weather's going to move past Tampa, so I'm going with Brady.
Right in your wheelhouse, Sean. Are you going to take Matthew Stafford or Trevor Lawrence?
I'm going to take Staff 9 in that one, only because I'm not a believer in the Niners' vaunted defense based on who they've played so far.
All right, time to feel a little flexy. Let's go to the flex picks. So here we go. Same order. Kyle Pitts, Jerry Jeudy.
Kyle Pitts.
TJ Hawkinson or Zach Ertz.
I'll go with Ertz.
Jahan Dotson or J.K. Dobbins, half-point PPR.
Jahan Dotson.
Najee Harris or Jamal Williams.
Jamal Williams. I never thought I'd say that.
Isn't it weird?
Never.
Michael Pittman or Mike Evans.
I'll take Evans. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, fairly.
Tyler Lockett or Rashad Bateman.
That's a tough one, but I'm going to go Lockett simply because I think we're going to put Okudah on Metcalf. Lockett's going to have a lesser DB on him.
All right, the last round is dirty sexy, meaning we're getting down deep in the dirt because these are much deeper leagues and folks are needing help. So here we go. We'll do 2 rounds of this. First one is KJ Osborne or Evan Ingram.
I'm going to go Evan Ingram. I just think that they're going to keep peppering him with targets and he's going to break through.
Naheem Hines or Devin Duvernay?
Give me Duvernay in what should be a pretty high-scoring game.
Matt Collins or Noah Brown?
I'm on the Matt Collins hype train for as long as Renfro's out, and I think I haven't seen an update, but I think he's still projected to be out or at least questionable. So give me Matt Collins.
And pick 2 here, Trosh. You've got it. Yeah, it's all okay. Yeah. Corey Davis, Gerald Everett, or Richie James.
Oh, that's just ugly.
Dirty sexy.
I'm gonna sit. I'm gonna have to sit. I'm gonna start Everett and Richie James.
Bobby, last one for you. Pick 2 of these 3. Randall Cobb. Oh, jeez. Randall Cobb, Samaje Perine, or Mike Gesicki.
Well, there's only one left now. 2 of them played on.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. So take. Well, hell, never mind. Let me do another one. Jerick McKinnon,
Mm-hmm.
Donovan People-Jones, and Craig Reynolds, 2 of those 3.
I'll take I'll sit Reynolds at the 3.
And Sean, the last one on the Dirty Sexy is Devontae Parker, Nico Collins, or Tyler Conklin, 2 of those 3.
Collins is a definite because they're going to stick Sante Samuel on Brandon Cooks. So Collins is a definite. For the other half, give me Devontae Parker, just because it seems like Hoyer's going to play, right? So he's probably going to throw to veterans, bubble screens and stuff. If you're in a PPR, that might be helpful.
Did anyone actually watch the MTSU game last night? I caught the tail end of it.
I was physically at the game. Yeah, I was at the game. So
that broadcast team. So the play-by-play guy wasn't bad, but that color commentator, I had to look him up who he was. He is god awful. He played at Ohio State, Sean, and his name's escaping me now. He played in the NFL for a little bit. Is that thing Minter or Winter?
Kevin Minter?
What's that?
Kevin Minter, maybe? Because there was an NFL player named Kevin Minter. Played for the Cardinals.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't know. Anyways, god awful. Worse than what's that dude's name? Aqib Talib?
Oh man.
He just sounded like he didn't know what the hell was going on.
I'm trying to look it up really quick. I don't even know. I'm trying to think of who that would be.
Or not because I know. Oh, here it is. Dante Whitner. As soon as I pulled it.
Oh yeah, I remember him. Yeah, no, he sucked.
So his name's Dante Whitner, but he goes by Dante Hittner on Twitter.
Pretty cool nickname, at least.
Yeah, good nickname.
That's where it ends. He's awful.
That's not surprising.
He would argue and contradict himself in the same sentence. It was just the strangest thing. I was like, what in the hell, man? I get it that we're not going to get Tony Romo at the MTSU game, but can we at least try a little better than this? There's got to be a local guy that just could have pulled out of the bar somewhere and said, hey, come here. All right, let's go ahead and get into our locks. We'll go ahead and let me get over to that so I can get all this info down. The locks doing pretty good, actually. We're 10-7 on the year, which isn't too shabby as an overall team. So the earlier picks, Tones locked in the Vikings -3, and Joey took the Arizona. No, he took Carolina. No, did he take Arizona or I got 2 things written down here, Bobby.
I think he took Arizona.
Okay. That's what I thought, but anyways. Yeah, okay. I see what I did. I went to put in parentheses who they're playing Carolina, and I just ended up writing out cards later on because I'm seeing Arizona. So, all right. So Arizona and Minnesota, they both went NFL. Who wants to go first this week?
I'll take it.
All right.
I talked about this matchup earlier. It kind of scares me because Buffalo has lost 5 games in a row in Baltimore, but I just think they are clearly the better team. They are going to be motivated last week after that tough loss in Miami. They should have had so many more points than their 19. They got stuffed, I think, like 2 or 3 times in the red zone with not getting anything out of it. So I'm taking the Bills. They're only -3. I feel like they're going to win, and it should be at least a touchdown difference.
All right. So what is the line again?
Buffalo -3.
Buffalo -3. Oops. You would think they would rebound, but if it gets bad weather, that could be a really interesting. That could screw up a lot of people's fantasy day. I can tell you that. There's bad weather in Baltimore. Bobby, what you got?
All right. I made the mistake of going against Joey last week, going against his team. But I'm going to try it again. I got Titans +3.5. I'm not marking it up as a loss for the Colts, but I think it'll be a close game. So I like Titans +3.5.
All right. And then Sean, where are you going?
I'm actually going to go in college football, and I'm going to take something that I don't think we've discussed, an early game at 11 o'clock in the ABC window. I'm going to take the Horned Frogs to TCU, +5 against Oklahoma. I am not a big believer in Oklahoma. I do not like what I see out of Gabriel, and Sonny Dykes has a history of making teams look stupid when they come to his place. Game's in Fort Worth. It's early. Oklahoma coming off the big loss, playing on the road again. Give me TCU +5.
I thought about going Kentucky, but I'm going to double back. The Duke Blue Devils are at home against Virginia. They're only giving up 2.5 points. Give me Duke -2.5. And to beat Virginia, Duke's actually a pretty decent football team this year. They got one loss, but it was on the road against Kansas. And believe it or not, that is an actual impressive loss. So Keenan Allen has been ruled out for this week, which I don't think shocks anybody. So get him out of your fantasy lineups. What is your walk-off for the week, Bobby?
Walk-off, we've got some good top 25 matchups in college football today. Ole Miss, Kentucky, NC State, Clemson, some more to go along with that. So make sure to enjoy that and live it up. Have a fun day of college football.
Steve, what's your walk-off, sir?
This is our first weekend with a London game. So everybody, don't forget, set your lineups by 9:30 Eastern tomorrow. Yeah. You got a lot of Saints and Vikings that are probably going to be in play. So just make sure you get your lineup set.
Sean, what you got?
Tomorrow in my 4-box on Sunday Ticket, I'm obviously going to have Lions Seahawks. I'm going to have Jags Eagles. The fourth game might surprise some. I'm going to have the Browns Falcons in that window. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills that the Browns are -1. I think the Browns are way better than the Falcons. I think a lot of that is based on how frisky the Falcons have looked against teams that are clearly much better than them. But that's a place where I might lay some ducats tomorrow, because that's a game where I could see Nick Chubb. 1 week a year, we always have the Nick Chubb game where everybody remembers that he can go for 180 and 3 touchdowns at any point in time. And that can be tomorrow.
My walk-off is Braves Mets tonight, 7:15. Cannot wait for that. Tomorrow night, I'm going to do a special broadcast Sunday Night Baseball. So Braves Mets, 7:08, mainly because most folks ask me to do it because they don't want to hear the K-Rod cast. And then also leading up to that tonight, Florida State, come on, man, get a W. Keep the dream alive just one more week. We're at home against Wake Forest. Looking forward to today. Got 3:30 Florida State and then 7:15 Braves. So should be and then a great this is probably the best slate of college football so far that we've gotten top to bottom. You know, was there 4 or 5 matchups in the top 25 alone, and then just some of the other games that we've mentioned. That Clemson NC State game should be really fun. And I think they're supposed to get pretty good weather. It looks like it's good weather there right now. And like everybody, you know, to hell with Dabo. So, you know, go Wolfpack. All right. We will see y'all next week. Great job, guys. And good luck to all your teams unless they're playing mine.
See ya.
Good luck. Happy October.
We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thanks for listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on these CBS Sports affiliates and catching the show on YouTube Live. The Armchair Quarterbacks bring you Braves Country Baseball every Tuesday and Friday night, play-by-play with Mac McGee. Find Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live today. Please subscribe and share and take us everywhere you go. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for Southern sports talk, live from the First Coast.
Gonna get